Chapter 1034. A palm pierced through the clouds. Shin-chan couldn't believe her eyes. How was this possible? How am I, who possesses such power, compared to you? Li Fan's voice carried an unquestionable power that made people worship him. They couldn't help but want to kneel down and worship him. If you're a gift from God, then I should be a real god. You're indeed God. Shin-chan almost surrendered. At this time, Li Fan suddenly dispersed the pressure on his body and returned to his normal appearance. He smiled at Shin-chan in front of him. No, I'm not God. I'm just an ordinary person. Li Fan's smile made Shin-chan relax a little, and her heartbeat was not so heavy. The feeling that Li Fan exuded for a moment was really scary. You're the same. You're not God either. Li Fan told Shin-chan, we're all ordinary people. Don't try to be special anymore. Do you remember? Yes, I remember. Shin-chan nodded, but I sing better than you. Li Fan was speechless. He couldn't refute this. But isn't your throat broken? This is not what I want. Shin-chan lowered her head and seemed a little sad. Okay, I won't beat you up. Thank you for your gift, I like it very much. Li Fan expressed his gratitude. I didn't want to give it to you. Shin-chan turned her head and snorted, I just bought it on the way. Okay, thank you for buying the gift on the way. Li Fan thanked her again. That's more like it. Shin-chan's mood relaxed a little. This Li Fan was better. The Li Fan just now was indeed a little scary. Can I ask you for a favor? What is it? Seeing that Shin-chan suddenly became serious, Li Fan became curious. There was actually a time when this lass was serious. He was always so frivolous. I'm going to England the day after tomorrow. Shin-chan said, it's to promote my new album. I hope you can accompany me. Why me? Because I received this. As Shin-chan spoke, he took out a letter and handed it to Li Fan. Inside was a piece of A4 paper with a row of small words printed in black font. If you dare to come to England, I will kill you. Threatening letter. Li Fan couldn't help but be surprised. You still believe in this? Such a letter might not be a big deal. Shin-chan pointed at the emblem below. This is the emblem of the Magic Association. The Magic Association. Li Fan couldn't help but laugh. Have you watched too much Harry Potter? I didn't believe it at first, but look for yourself. Shin-chan pressed on the badge, and the letter suddenly flew up and folded. It was like a mouth that kept opening and closing its mouth to speak. Shin-chan. You are a man forsaken by God. If you dare to come to England, the Magic Association will get rid of you immediately. After roaring for a while, the letter turned back into a piece of paper and floated to the ground. Look, Shin-chan couldn't help but tremble as he looked at the paper on the ground. This can't be some high-tech, superpower. Li Fan was a little puzzled. Or was there really magic? But since there was superpower, then there was nothing surprising about magic, right? China had Jianghu and England had the Magic Association. It seemed reasonable. Then it's better if you don't go. No, this promotion is very important. Even if the agency doesn't let me go, I have to go. Shin-chan said, and I heard, the Magic Association in England may have a way to cure my voice. You're turning to any doctor in a desperate situation. What can I do? Do you understand how it feels to lose your voice? Shin-chan looked like she was about to lose her temper. I've been forcing myself to smile. Even Lil Wan can't be with me all the time. The only thing that can be with me all the time is my singing. I get it. Li Fan nodded. I will help you. Really? But I heard that you have to deal with the dojo. The dojo can be put aside first. Anyway, I've already called Xiaohu and Jiang Yi, they will be here soon. Plus Lin Yuhs in, the three of them can help me first. Li Fan thought for a moment. Senior sister Lil Wan said she would help, and there are also the sisters. They are all labor. Oh, yes, Xiao Ai is also here. As long as she doesn't cause trouble. Why did you find a group of students to help? Can't you find some professionals? They are all professionals. Li Fan emphasized, except Xiao Ai. Since you've arranged it, then there are no other problems. Shin Chen was happy and pulled Li Fan's arm. Then you will be my personal bodyguard for the time being. Well, by the way, I run my own escort agency. Li Fan took out a business card and put it in Shin Chen's palm. According to the price, my daily fee is 100,000. Boss Shin, how long do you want to hire me? Damn, why is it so expensive? You are a profiteer. Thank you for the compliment. After all, I have a lot of people to support. Li Fan laughed. Shin Chen was speechless. You. What do you do? The more I know you, the more I feel you are different. No, I am just an ordinary person who has learned some martial arts. I also want to learn, do you have time? Is there any shortcut? Shin Chen asked hurriedly. There is no such thing. Li Fan shrugged. Practicing martial arts is not something that can be done in a day. You need to hone your spirit and body to achieve something. Sigh, so troublesome. Then you can practice martial arts and then protect me. Li Fan was a little helpless. This girl was really lazy. In addition to Shin Chen's matter, Li Fan was also concerned about another thing. That was that Wang Luo. At 8:00 in the evening, he must have a talk with this strange man. What is the Holy War plan? Then it's a deal. The day after tomorrow, I will send a car to pick you up. Shin Chen was a little happy. Like I said, I am such a beautiful woman, you will definitely want to be by my side. Asking you to be the hero and save the beauty, you must be happy. Here you go again. Li Fan sighed. Alright, I won't say any more. Then let's see you the day after tomorrow. Okay, see you. N. Chapter 1035. On the morning of the third day, Li Fan heard Zhao Yingjun yelling before he went downstairs. Fuck, there's a Bentley downstairs. Whose is it? Wang Yang and Xiang Dong also looked downstairs. Wang Yang sighed. A black Bentley, so luxurious. When I become famous for my fortune-telling, I want to buy a car like this too. Bro, stop fooling around. Zhao Yingjun broke out in a cold sweat. A fortune-teller can afford a Bentley. Are you looking down on us fortune-tellers? Wang Yang immediately emphasized. My uncle master drives a Bentley now. He goes in and out of high-end places every day, telling fortunes and feng shui for all kinds of famous families. He's living a carefree life. If you want to have your fortune told, just the reservation alone is at least 500,000. What, your uncle master has a golden mouth? Zhao Yingjun was very confused. Can fortune-telling earn so much money? What do you think? Wang Yang said seriously. Fortune-tellers make money by divulging heavenly secrets. Small heavenly secrets are small money, big heavenly secrets are big money. You're like me, I only know how to read small heavenly secrets. My uncle master, on the other hand, sees big heavenly secrets. What nonsense are you talking about? Zhao Yingjun waved his hand. You've read too many web novels. It's true if you believe it, it's true if you don't believe it. If you don't believe it, I won't force you. Today. You're being weird. Ah, second brother, where are you going? Are you going out? Can you help me bring some breakfast back? Seeing that Li Fan had put on his sportswear and was about to go out, Zhao Yingjun hurriedly asked. You'll have to buy your own breakfast. Li Fan smiled. I applied for leave from school. I'm going out for a few days. Ah. Will the school approve? G University's rules had always been strict, especially for first-year students. No problem. The dean was Shen Chen's fan. Needless to say, this trick was very effective. See you in a few days, brothers. Li Fan was about to open the door and go downstairs when Wang Yang suddenly called out to Li Fan. Li Fan, wait, Li Fan turned around, not knowing what was going on with Wang Yang. Li Fan, your glabella has been turning dark for the past 2 days, you have to be careful. Wang Yang's words made Li Fan's body tremble slightly. Here we go again, this fraud. Zhao Yingjun teased, but Li Fan's thoughts instantly went back to 8:00 the night before yesterday. At that time, he returned to the empty classroom and met Wang Luo again. It would be even better if you brought a little girl. Wang Luo sat cross-legged on the podium and looked at Li Fan. There's no need to chase Yang away this time. Anyway, he can save your life. Speak clearly. Li Fan looked at the mysterious Wang Luo in front of him. Who exactly are you? I am here to save you, Li Fan. Wang Luo took out a quaint sword and looked at Li Fan with a smile. I belong to the country's highest intelligence organization. There has always been only one person in this organization. I only need to answer to the highest leader. This is my privilege and also my responsibility. The highest intelligence organization. Yes, the name of this organization is called Shangfang Sword. Wang Luo raised the sword in his hand. This sword has existed since Han Dynasty. It is called Shangfang Horse-Slaying Sword. This Shangfang Horse-Slaying Sword is specially for the imperial power. I, Wang Luo, am this generation's Shangfang Sword. And you, Li Fan, are the next generation. What nonsense are you talking about? Li Fan frowned. Since when do I want to inherit this Shangfang Sword? I, Li Fan, only fight for myself, not for the imperial power. I came to see you just to inquire about the so-called Holy War Plan, not to take over your position. This position is very good, a lot of things are very convenient. Do you think I want to hand it over to you? When Wang Luo spoke, a trace of blood was already dripping from the corner of his mouth. He stretched out his hand and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. It is because I don't have much time left. You have an incurable disease. That's not it. It is mainly because my body is already corrupted. Wang Luo said, just by looking at my appearance, you might not believe it, but I am actually already 110 years old. It is just that I will always have this face, I will never age. The fuck? Li Fan was stunned when he heard this. This person is already 110 years old. So awesome. Are you sure these injuries were not caused by me? Of course not. Wang Luo spat. Young man, what are you thinking about? You want to hurt me with just you? That's impossible. I am China's Shangfang Sword. I kill gods above and evil spirits below. As Wang Luo spoke, he stood up. His body suddenly expanded and became 2 meters tall. Like a god, he looked straight at Li Fan. Changing bones. No, I don't know any martial arts at all. Wang Luo says, all of this is an experiment. Experiment? What experiment? An experiment to make a deal with the devil. Wang Luo didn't fully explain. I obtained the ability to strengthen my body and powerful mental strength. My existence is only for one thing, and that is to become the Shangfang sword. That is also your choice. Li Fan reminded him, you can't force me to make the same choice as you. You still don't understand. Do you think that I am willing to waste my time on a man? Only beautiful young ladies are my true love. Wang Luo coughed out blood again. I have said it before, this is the only way to save you. Become the Shangfang sword and be outside of all the rules. Isn't the so-called Shangfang sword still the weapon of those in power? I don't want to become the weapon of those in power. This is a contract and also a transaction. Wang Luo immediately said, even those in power can't casually use the Shangfang sword. The Shangfang sword is the ultimate weapon. Those in power can only use it 10 times during their time in power. But other than this, the Shangfang sword also needs to protect China's safety. That is the main purpose. Not interested. Li Fan still rejected, I don't like to carry this kind of responsibility. Have you forgotten that I am saving you? Wang Luo didn't panic and continued, the sacred war is about to begin, Jianghu will no longer exist. At that time, where will you, Li Fan, survive? Jianghu will no longer exist. What does that mean? Li Fan felt that this Wang Luo seemed to know a lot of secrets. What do you think the sacred war plan is? It is to destroy the entire Jianghu in China. Jianghu is so big, how can it be destroyed just like that? Currently, China is divided into doves and hawks. It has been peaceful for too long, the doves have taken over the mainstream. Wang Luo's eyes seem to be filled with disdain. In peaceful times, martial artists are the biggest threat to the country. Furthermore, martial artists are the eyesore of the foreign powers, so... Chapter 1036. So, with the Dove faction as the leader, they made a decision to start a crusade to eradicate Jianghu. To cooperate with the US, to develop and improve together. What a joke. Li Fan couldn't help but feel desolate. Jianghu has protected China for so many years, but now because of the Dove faction's compromise, it has become a sacrifice. In my eyes, Jianghu is nothing more than that. Originally, I didn't take this matter to heart. Because my strength alone is enough to protect Huaxia. Aren't you too good at talking big? Is that so? Wang Luo suddenly laughed out loud. Li Fan, do you know that I have protected China for 100 years? From the age of 11, I have already become this sword. In 1917, the warlords were in a war. Wang Luo was only 11 years old, but he was already on the battlefield with a gun. He killed 2 enemies, but was mistakenly shot from the back by one of his own. At that time, Wang Luo was lying on the ground, waiting for death to come. But death didn't come. A man named Shangfang saved him. He trained him to become the next generation's Shangfang. But Wang Luo was a natural insulator, unable to practice martial arts. But because his mental power was higher than normal people, Wang Luo could hypnotize his enemies to protect China. But in the 60s, when he was on the verge of death due to old age, he was sent to a lab in the US by a corrupt official in exchange for benefits. In the lab, Wang Luo went through all kinds of inhumane experiments, but in the end, the experiments failed, causing Wang Luo's body to mutate. He returned to his young body, obtained even more power, and within Shangfang Zhanma, killed his way back to China from the US. Wang Luo got rid of the corrupt officials, allowing the power of the Shangfang to shock the entire world. Just like that, Wang Luo protected China for another 40 years. Although he looked young on the outside, on the inside, he was already an old man that was over 100 years old. He, who had never cultivated qi before, had no way to improve his body's skills, and could only watch himself grow old day by day. He could die, but he couldn't lose the Shang Fong 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 Fong. Wang Luo had been looking for his successor, and he had been observing Li Fan for a long time. The current Li Fan and his master are too similar. That scary man. If there was a reincarnation cycle in this world, perhaps Li Fan would really be his reincarnation. Li Fan, the holy war has already begun. You're safe in Ji City. But in the Jianghu, many big and small sects have been destroyed. Didn't Murong's family do anything? Murong's blog. He's just a lackey of the doves. Wang Luo smiled. Although he's powerful, he's not worthy of my attention. What I want is a person who hasn't bent his spine. Even so, I will not become an imperial sword. I will use my own strength to protect the things that are important to me. Really? However, Wang Luo raised her eyebrows. Do you think your happy student days will last for a long time? Li Fan, all of this is just a game for you. Soon, darkness will come, and you will have nowhere to hide. Don't you know how many murders you've committed? As long as the doves are willing, from tomorrow onwards, you will become a wanted criminal. Zhou Tai has already given up on you. The reason why you're not a wanted criminal is because I'm protecting you. Me? I'm a law-abiding young man. Li Fan said that he didn't mind, but he was still worried in his heart. If he were to become a wanted criminal, then he would have to hide his head and show his tail. Or he could directly return to the Li family island and continue to build his territory there. But if that's the case, he would have too many regrets in life. Really? Tiger-faced enforcer. As Wang Luo spoke, he suddenly turned into a tiger-headed man. Li Fan's body trembled. Do you think you've done it flawlessly? You're underestimating China's criminal investigation power. There will always be a place where you'll leave some traces. Not just this, you've killed so many people in the Jianghu. When the Jianghu was still around, the rules of the Jianghu would naturally protect you. But the Jianghu is about to cease to exist. Do you think you can still survive? Li Fan pondered for a moment. The path that Wang Luo gave him was undoubtedly correct, but Li Fan didn't want to walk on this path. The more others wanted him to do something, the more he didn't want to do it. Wang Luo, I'll walk my own path. Others can't guide me. Li Fan, you still don't understand. You're destined to become an imperial sword. Wang Luo sighed as he looked at Li Fan. Very soon, even my power won't be able to protect you. Because in the end, the one who will destroy the Jianghu is destined to be you. What a joke, how can I destroy the Jianghu? I'm not the destroyer. Really? Let me reveal some information to you. Wang Luo looked at Li Fan and threw down a ruthless sentence. The person who destroyed dozens of sects in the Jianghu is a young man called Li Fan. As Wang Luo spoke, he took out an iPad and placed it in front of him. There was an image on it. It seemed to be a courtyard with corpses and blood everywhere. A young man stood there without any expression. His body was stained with blood and one of his hands was holding a 7 or 8-year-old kid. It seemed like he had just broken the kid's neck. Li Fan opened his eyes wide. This young man is me. How is this possible? Li Fan roared. Asshole, did you do this? It has nothing to do with me. Mr. Yang's figure appeared again. He was wearing a black tuxedo and a western hat as he looked at Li Fan. You're still here. You and I are one. Of course, I won't disappear. Mr. Yang shrugged his shoulders, but those things weren't done by me. We've already merged. I can't do anything for you anymore. I can only watch you from the side. Watch from the side. Li Fan pointed at Wang Luo. What about him? How powerful is he? Very powerful. Mr. Yang looked at Wang Luo. His body couldn't help but tremble. This man, the power he emits makes me feel terrified. Li Fan, for your own good, don't be his enemy. At least, before he completely collapses. Mr. Yang, who used to urge him to kill people, advised him not to do it today. It seems like Wang Luo's power is indeed terrifying. At least you have good eyes. Wang Luo could also see Mr. Yang's existence. Or rather, he could directly see Li Fan's spirit. If my body can do it, I really want to fight you with all my strength. But unfortunately, the more power I use now, the faster I die. In order to live a few more days, I can only give up on this idea. Let me ask you one last time. Are you willing to receive my Shangfang sword? Chapter 1037. You look like a dog in this sportswear. Shin Chen snorted as she watched Li Fan get in the car. You still don't know how to talk. Li Fan was speechless. This woman would probably never learn what respect was in this lifetime. Then I'd better take it off. Don't you dare. Shin Chen glared at him. If you dare to take it off, you'll what? I'll take it off too, and then you'll molest. You'll be in the headlines. Li Fan was convinced by this method. Fine, then I won't take it off. That's more like it. Shin Chen was satisfied. That's more like a man. She opened the fridge. What do you want to drink? That's enough. How much information do you have on the British Association of Magic? Can you tell me more? I don't know much. The Association of Mages is the same as the martial arts world, it only exists in the Western world of novels. Shin Chen guessed. I heard that only those who entered it by mistake had recorded such stories and novels. Only after they were written did we learn about it. But who knows the specifics? I'm not a magician. Well, then I think I understand. Li Fan nodded. He sat there with his chin on his hand. They probably had an arbitration organization similar to the Brocade Clan Guard, which dealt with matters in the magic world and the real world. But, why do they hate you so much? It's really incomprehensible. Li Fan looked at the beautiful female star in front of him. Did you do anything to make them angry? How is that possible? It's my first time going to England. Shin Chen was a little unhappy. Who knows what those psychopaths want to do? If it wasn't for my throat, I wouldn't go to them. Anyway, we'll find out today. They would arrive in London this afternoon, and Li Fan really wanted to see what the so-called Association of Mages was. Helping Shin Chen was one thing, but wanting to see a magician was the real motivation for Li Fan. This time, Shin Chen got her wish and booked the first-class cabin, but she bought business class for Li Fan. Fuck, it's still the same problem. Li Fan was sitting in the business class, but he was happy and relaxed. He pulled the blindfold over his eyes and decided to get some sleep before flying to London. Li Fan was in a daze when he heard Mr. Yang's voice. Li Fan, wake up. Sleep for a while more. Li Fan wanted to stay in bed. Wake up, there's danger. The voice became heavier. Li Fan's eyes moved slightly. He felt as though something was restraining him. Li Fan sensed danger. He suddenly exerted his power and tore apart the shackles on his body. Everyone on the plane seemed to have fallen asleep. It was very quiet and there was no sound at all. Even the flight attendants in the business class were sleeping soundly on the chairs beside them. What was going on? Li Fan suddenly remembered the threat from the Magic Association. Could it be that it had begun? He pretended to continue sleeping and sat in his seat, looking forward. If he wanted to go to the first-class cabin in front, he had to go through the business-class cabin where he was. Li Fan wanted to see what kind of person this magician was. It was a man who was wearing a British-style suit like Mr. Yang. He was holding a meter-long cane in his right hand and walking toward the first-class cabin. Friend, why are you in such a hurry? Where are you going? Li Fan waved his hand and a wall of true energy blocked the way to the first-class cabin, blocking the British man outside. What? The British man turned his head and looked at Li Fan with a frown. Impossible. He spoke the purest English and looked at Li Fan with some surprise. How did you break my dream space? Maybe it's because I'm not sleepy. Li Fan smiled. It would be better if you could solve my insomnia. All of you go to sleep. The British man frowned. He held the cane and knocked it on the ground. A transparent halo immediately spread out and filled the surroundings. Magic? Li Fan's eyes gathered true energy. He could clearly see the energy used by this magic. No matter what it was all just energy. Li Fan had already grasped the foundation of this world's power, so everything was easily solved. Li Fan stretched out his right hand and released his true qi, blocking in front of the fluctuation. The fluctuation was blocked in front of Li Fan. Li Fan calmly sat there, picked up the juice on the shelf and drank a mouthful. Please help me wake up the flight attendants. I'm a bit hungry. I hope they can help me prepare something to eat. Who are you? The British man frowned. Did you just cast a magic barrier? Of course not. Li Fan smiled. Does your magic association still recruit Asians? Then can I sign up? Knock him out. The British man raised his cane and aimed his left hand at Li Fan. He released a white radiance towards Li Fan. Li Fan raised his hand and shattered the fluctuation. This kind of magic has no effect on me. I originally wanted to solve the problem quietly, but if I use too much magic, the passengers on this plane will also suffer. The magic association cannot interfere with the secular world, this is the rule. What, you're leaving just like that? Li Fan saw the clues. Don't be in a hurry to leave, let's chat a bit more. We will see each other later. The British man saluted Li Fan and then knocked his cane. The air around him suddenly compressed, curling him into a ball and then disappeared from the plane. Teleportation. Li Fan was shocked. This was really magic. The British man had completely disappeared, even his aura was as if he had never been here. The people on the plane were slowly waking up. The stewardess also rubbed her eyes and looked at Li Fan. Sir. Did I fall asleep? Just for a while. Li Fan smiled at her. Can you prepare lunch for me? Yes, sir, please wait a moment. The stewardess went to help Li Fan prepare the food. Li Fan leaned on the chair, still thinking about the British man. The British Magic Association seemed to be quite interesting. This teleportation method, I wonder if I can learn it. Although they are all energy, there is a difference in the way each energy works. Just now when the other party teleported, the surrounding energy seemed to have been sucked out. This power seems to be a bit dangerous. Sir, your lunch is ready, please enjoy. If there is anything you need, please let me know. The beautiful stewardess respectfully brought the lunch in front of Li Fan. Thank you. How long until we reach London? There is still an hour. It is currently raining in London. Sir, please pay attention to avoid the rain. And, thank you for the reminder. What I need to avoid is not only the rain. Ha! Chapter 1038. Did you sleep well? When they got off the plane, Shin Chen asked Li Fan. Not bad, how about you? No one disturbed me, I slept very comfortably. Shin Chen stretched himself lazily. This is a good nap. Didn't you notice anything unusual? Anything unusual? Are you afraid of the turbulence of the plane? Shin Chen laughed at Li Fan. You're already an adult, yet you're still afraid of flying. Li Fan looked at the relaxed Shin Chen and thought to himself, it's really good to live in an ignorant world. The airport was crowded with people. When Qianqian arrived here, she was much more relaxed. There weren't so many fans who knew her. Although Qianqian was popular all over the country, she was still a stranger in Europe and the United States. She didn't even need to wear sunglasses and a mask and walked freely in the airport. This feeling is so good, I can do whatever I want. Qianqian relaxed here, but she let Li Fan drag a lot of luggage behind her. In that case, don't be a star. Li Fan couldn't help but complain. How can I do that? This lady was born to attract attention. Qianqian looked a little proud. After this album is released in the UK, I will definitely conquer these blonde and blue-eyed fans. I hope so, but didn't you come for your throat? I also want to, but the association of mages is not so easy to deal with. Thinking of this, Qianqian felt a little bitter. I don't know them at all, and they seem to hate me very much. This is also inexplicable. Li Fan wanted to catch the British man and ask him clearly. He sensed the aura around him and captured the possible location of the British man. But there were too many people here. It was really difficult to find someone's aura. What are you looking for? Nothing. Li Fan waved his hand. Get in the car. Bastard, where's the driver responsible for picking us up? Qianqian looked around and found that the agreed driver didn't come. She was a little angry. The agent panted and squeezed out of the crowd. Sorry, I'm late. The agent had arrived in London a step earlier to help Qianqian settle things here. And Li Fan, as a bodyguard, accompanied Qianqian. You don't want to work anymore. Qianqian threw a tantrum at her manager. Did I ask you to come to London early just to have fun? The agent was the same woman in her 30s from last time. Li Fan remembered that her name was Jessica. Jessica apologized profusely, but Li Fan tried to persuade her. Forget it, it's not that late. Didn't we just get off the plane? Humph, my time is extremely precious. Qianqian pouted. You're the only one who likes to be a good person. Humph. With that, she turned her head and left. Jessica gave Li Fan a grateful look, and then followed behind Qianqian, asking about his well-being. Their car was parked at the entrance of the airport. As they were about to leave, Li Fan's heart skipped a beat. The crowd around them seemed to have quietened down, and then stood still, motionless. A few guests were pulling their suitcases, fixing them beside them. At the security checkpoint in the distance, a passenger was arguing with the security officer who opened his suitcase, his open mouth fixed there. A child tripped because he was running around, and his body was about to fall, stopped in midair. The second hand of the huge clock hanging on the wall also stopped moving. Time seemed to be too tired, and stopped to rest for a while. Jessica and Qianqian were also fixed beside him, both of them motionless. Qianqian was stretching out her hand, putting earphones into her ears. Jessica was on the phone, helping to pull the suitcase with her other hand. The surroundings were extremely quiet, not a sound at all. It was so quiet that Li Fan's ears started to hurt a little. At this moment, the sound of footsteps saved Li Fan's ears. The footsteps seemed to cause ripples in Li Fan's heart, getting closer and closer, as if it was right next to his ear. Li Fan turned around and saw a man in a tuxedo, with half a mask and a cane in his hand, walking slowly in their direction. You're here already. Li Fan stretched. It's really the right time. I'm a little bored, so I passed the time. Flame guard. The man shouted in English. It seemed to be some kind of incantation. The top of his cane lit up, and then, a ball of flame burned and appeared above his head, condensing into the shape of a little angel. This little angel stretched out his hands and aimed at Li Fan, then a series of fire arrows shot towards Li Fan. Interesting. Li Fan laughed. He stood there, punching and kicking, constantly kicking away the fire arrows that approached him. Bang, bang, bang. The fire arrows exploded in the surroundings, but Shin Chin, who was behind Li Fan, was safe and sound. "Sir, are you a martial artist?" The man said, "This is the matter of the Association of Mages, please leave." "Can the Association of Mages kill people at will?" Li Fan put his hands in his pockets. "I can't promise you that. This is the British Empire." The man was very impolite. "Sir, you came to our territory, yet you still want to be so arrogant. We've already warned her in advance, but she didn't listen, so we naturally have to give her the punishment we promised." "What did she do wrong?" Li Fan was very confused. "She's just an ordinary girl. Did she offend you?" "What happened to her is the secret of the Association of Mages, it has nothing to do with you." "Then don't blame me." Li Fan stood there. "Shin Chin, I'll protect her." "Then don't blame me for being impolite," the man said and cast another incantation. "I, Lawrence, order the Flame Guard to kill this man." The flame spirit stretched out his hands, condensed a huge fireball, and threw it at Li Fan. The fireball flew through the air, and before it reached him, Li Fan could feel the blazing energy on it. But he reached out his hand and directly crushed the fireball with his palm. "That's it." Li Fan looked at the man called Lawrence opposite him. "I thought the magic would be very strong, but now it seems that it's only so-so." Damn it, Lawrence's heart was perturbed. He was a third-level mage of the Association of Mages, but he couldn't even hurt the opponent. In the Association of Mages, the highest level was a sixth-level mage, known as the Mage God. It was said that they could communicate with the invisible elementalist and summon a terrifying power like a nuclear bomb. These mages were all treasures of the British Parliament, and they usually wouldn't use them easily. And the elemental guard he summoned couldn't be compared to the elementalist. Could it be that magic couldn't defeat the ancient martial arts of China? Chapter 1039. Europe had been researching magic for hundreds of years, and people at that time called themselves alchemists. The formation of magic was also the history of science. Fire, light, lightning, ice, these elements could be created with science. Magic was the same. Hundreds of years ago, alchemists developed the alchemy crystal, which was used to connect with some kind of elemental life in this world. From there, they formed a contract and created magic through the elemental life. To the Magic Association, magic was the real science. A magician and his elemental life would grow together. When the elemental life grew into an elemental user, the magician would also become the strongest archmage. The power of the elements was comparable to modern high-tech weapons. Lawrence was also full of confidence in his magic. As the magic police of the Magic Association, he thought he could easily take care of Shin Chin. But he didn't expect to be stopped by a Chinese martial artist in the airport. Derby escaped from the plane. He warned himself that there was a Chinese martial artist on the plane, but Lawrence didn't care. But Lawrence didn't put him in his eyes. Derby was only a rank 2 magician, and his magic power was too weak. How could he compare to him? He must get rid of him here. And that Shin Chin, she must not enter London. Chinese martial artist, you forced me to do this. Lawrence, who had signed a contract with the fire element, thought that his elemental power could defeat everything. A small Chinese martial artist was no match for him. As long as he was serious, he could definitely kill him. Flame Guard, in my name, Lawrence, I order you. Flame Rain. Lawrence pointed above his head. The Flame Guard spat out hundreds of small fireballs the size of pigeon eggs. They flew into the sky and fell on Li Fan, as if it was really a rain of fire. It's useless, friend. Li Fan crossed his arms and stood there. He covered his head with true qi. The flames hit the true qi and were blocked. Even if you can play with fire, it's useless. How can he be so strong? Lawrence was a bit surprised. His flames couldn't hurt him at all. No matter what you use, it's just a form of energy. Your energy is weaker than mine. How can you hurt me? Not to mention, your body is too weak. As he spoke, Li Fan had already jumped in front of Lawrence. Guard charge. The flame guard released a huge wave of fire, which struck Li Fan's body. However, with a wave of his hand, Li Fan chopped off the wave of fire with his knife hand. He then kicked Lawrence. Bang! Lawrence's body was sent flying like a bullet. In the blink of an eye, he flew dozens of meters away and smashed into the opposite wall. He was knocked out by Li Fan's kick, and even the magic pocket watch he was wearing on his chest was shattered. The time that had stopped in the surroundings continued to flow. No one knew that a battle had just taken place. Everything was normal. Li Fan, hurry up. What are you waiting for? Shin Chen turned her head and scolded Li Fan. Yes, I'm coming. Li Fan saw that Lawrence had already disappeared, leaving only a human-shaped hole on the wall. It seemed that there should be other magicians here, and they probably took him away. Although he was not strong, his ability to stop time and change space made Li Fan very concerned. However, it seemed that these did not have any effect on him. Was it because his energy blocked the other's energy? Li Fan's interest in studying was aroused. He really wanted to study magic properly. Not long after Li Fan left, Lawrence, who had been seriously injured, was standing on the platform on the second floor, looking in the direction of the airport gate. You failed, Lawrence. Debbie stood next to him, leaning on her cane, looking at the magician who was stronger than her. I warned you, but you didn't take it seriously. If you had found support, you wouldn't have failed. It's not your turn to lecture me. I healed you. You don't respect me, which is equivalent to disrespecting your own life. I'm your boss. You should have helped me. Lawrence was very unwilling. Go and find out where this martial fighter came from. Okay, but the devil's spawn has entered London, and the prophecy is about to come true. What should we do? The Magic Association should have listened to me long ago. If they had directly gotten rid of the devil's spawn, there wouldn't be today's trouble. China has been a forbidden land since ancient times. You've seen the power of that martial fighter. We are no match for him. We still have the god of magic. Lawrence's eyes sharpened. Don't forget, the creator of the Golden Empire was defeated by our god of magic. It's good that you're motivated, but I still think we should ask for support. As long as we get rid of Shin Chen, you and I can both be promoted. Lawrence reminded Debbie. Don't forget, even if we are magicians, we can't make money. Without money, how are we going to pay for our luxury apartment? At most, I'll make money to support you. Making money is my business. You just have to listen to me. Lawrence pulled Debbie into his arms. Be good, or I'll really get angry. Okay, you have the final say. That's more like it. Okay, hurry up and find out the background of that martial fighter. I have to go back to the department. Are you going to fix the pocket watch? Yes, this is the symbol of a third-level magician. Without it, a lot of things will be inconvenient. The two of them went their separate ways. Lawrence passed through a door and disappeared into the airport. The devil's spawn, Debbie looked outside the airport. I hope the prophecy won't come true. He also left the airport. After 2 battles in a row, Li Fan did not tell Shin Chen. There was no need to make her panic. Anyway, he could protect her. Shin Chen almost did not rest after arriving in England. She participated in 2 days of activities in a row. TV stations, entertainment companies, signing sites, and so on. A Bentley was responsible for Shin Chen's travel. She had to go to a private TV station to do an activity. At this time, she had already fallen asleep in the car. Li Fan looked at Shin Chen and thought to himself that it was really not easy to be a star. This girl usually looked so frivolous, but she seemed to be quite hardworking when it came to work. Li Fan, it's been hard on you these days. You accompanied us here and there. Jessica sat in the car. She had just contacted a record company. After putting down the phone, she said to Li Fan apologetically, No, this is what I should do. Li Fan would not go back on what he promised. Didn't she say that she wanted to treat her throat? Why hasn't she gone yet? Are you going back tomorrow? Jessica's face suddenly showed a difficult expression. Chapter 1040. This child is actually quite pitiful, Jessica sighed. She's different from others. She's the adopted daughter of a big family. She wasn't treated well since she was a child. Later, her adoptive father found out that she had a good voice, so he trained her to be a singer. Jessica reached out and gently touched Shin Chen's hair. But she was bullied by her family since she was a child. She has a weak personality. In order for her to become a qualified star, her family brainwashed her. Instilled in her the idea that she's different. Li Fan seemed to understand something. Well, because of this, she has never had any friends around her. Even I, who have known her for almost 7 years, almost abandoned her several times. Then why did you stay? Because every time I leave, I think about it. If I leave too, who will take care of her? Jessica looked at Shin Chen. I've taken care of her for 7 years. She's still a child after all. But ever since she met you, she seems to have changed a little. Li Fan, although I don't know who you are, you're really amazing. Let's talk about communication. Li Fan hurriedly explained. There are too few people around her. She needs more communication. As her junior, I'll definitely help her. I hope you can help her. Now that she has lost her voice, the family is ready to give up on her. Jessica's face was gloomy. The family has been squeezing her remaining value. When the day comes that she's no longer useful, I'm afraid they'll throw her aside like garbage. How can that be? Isn't she popular now? There are too many stars in China. What's the big deal about being popular? Shin Chen has lost her voice and will soon be abandoned. She has a bad temper, so it's not suitable for her to go on a variety show. Can't she still act? Li Fan hurriedly asked. Speaking of which, it's awkward. She has acted in several films. Whether it's a big production or a small one. All of them suffered huge losses. Boss Ma also paid for her to act in a film, but he ended up losing money. Now, Shin Chen has a nickname, the box office poison. Li Fan couldn't help with this. After all, singing is her talent. Jessica couldn't help but reminisce. The first time I heard her sing, I was moved by her. I even believe that she was born to sing. It's a pity that God didn't give her more chances and even took back this right. Isn't there a magic association in England that can cure her throat with magic? What magic association? I don't even know what's in that letter. Jessica laughed. You're already a university student, yet you still believe in such illusory things. I don't want to believe it either, but the world is big and full of wonders. As Li Fan spoke, he glanced out the window. On the roof of a building in the distance stood a man in a tuxedo, leaning on a cane. Jessica looked over curiously, but she did not see anything. Li Fan, what are you looking at? It's nothing. Li Fan turned his head. So, you're giving up the search for the sorcerer and returning home tomorrow? Yes, it's been hard on you these 2 days. You'll be free tomorrow. I've already transferred the fee to your account. To be honest, with your strength, this price is really not expensive. Li Fan saved Shin Chin from Boss Ma, so Jessica had always been grateful to Li Fan. I'm an expert, I'm honest. Li Fan patted his chest. After this, we're going back to the hotel to rest, right? Yes. If that's the case, no one will leave the room tonight. Li Fan reminded Jessica, no matter what you hear, stay in the room. No one is allowed to leave the room until the next morning, understand? Ah. Then what about dinner? Buy some food and go back to eat. Li Fan and the others stayed in a presidential suite. Shin Chen slept in the inner room while Jessica and Li Fan slept in the 2 outer rooms. We're returning home tomorrow, there shouldn't be any danger, right? Jessica was puzzled. Just listen to me. Li Fan didn't explain much. He only cared about what Lawrence said before. Tonight, they will definitely come to kill Shin Chen. Then I'll listen to your arrangements. Li Fan was responsible for all the security. As long as he didn't go overboard, Jessica would definitely obediently follow his instructions. But at night, Shin Chen was the first to be unhappy. Why, I still want to go out to see Big Ben. Shin Chen desperately pulled the door handle, quickly let me out, it's not easy to be free. No, you're not allowed to go anywhere tonight. Li Fan stood in front of the window, crossed his arms, and looked down. The door was locked by him with true qi. Even with the key, it couldn't be opened. Bastard, why are you restricting my freedom? I asked you to come here to protect me, not to lock me up. Shin Chen began to be willful again, I want to go out and play. Go out and play. Do you want to play, or do you want to die? Li Fan turned his head and coldly looked at Shin Chen. Since you came to England, the Association of Mages has attacked you twice. If it weren't for me, you would have been dead. Attacked twice. When did this happen? Are you talking nonsense? Shin Chen didn't believe it. If I let you see me so casually, how could it be called the Association of Mages? Li Fan was too lazy to explain, I won't harm you, just stay here obediently. No. I must go out, Shin Chen angrily said. Then you can try. Li Fan smiled, I'm going to take a shower first, you slowly torment yourself. Bastard, Shin Chen angrily rolled her eyes. She went to beg Jessica again. Jessica, let me go out. No, I can't open the door that Li Fan locked. Jessica expressed that she couldn't help. Humph, you're all annoying. Shin Chen could only bitterly return to the room. When Li Fan came out, he found Jessica sitting on the sofa with a pale face. What's wrong? Did something happen? Shin Chen is missing, Li Fan glanced at the door, it was closed, and there were no signs of damage. Shin Chen's room was empty, but the window was open. Li Fan leaned over the window and saw that the window was tied with a rope-like bedsheet. This girl is too bold. Li Fan couldn't help but want to curse. Fortunately, it was only the 3rd floor, otherwise, if she wasn't careful, wouldn't she fall and become disabled? What should we do? Call the police. Jessica was really panicking. This was England, how could they find someone if they weren't familiar with the place? Leave it to me, she shouldn't have gone far. Chapter 1041. Shin Chen took her phone and followed the map on the screen. Following some remote paths, she came to a deserted alley in London. Shin Chen stood at the entrance of the alley, looking at the 6-pointed star symbol on the wall. She seemed to be familiar with the place. She stretched out her hand and drew along the 6-pointed star. The wall suddenly seemed to come alive. The bricks on the top separated into two sides, revealing the true face of the Lushan mountain inside. This place looked like a hidden bar. After the walls parted, a door with a picture of wine appeared. Shin Chen stretched out her hand, wanting to open the door of the bar. But at this moment, a hand suddenly grabbed her wrist. "You're not sleeping at this late hour, but coming out to drink." Li Fan looked at Shin Chen with a smile. "Big shot Shin, you're really in a good mood. What are you doing here?" When Shin Chen saw Li Fan, she couldn't tell whether it was surprise or fear in her eyes. "What? I'm not welcome here." Li Fan pointed to the earphone on his ear. "See, I'm your bodyguard now. I have to protect you 24/7. Otherwise, do you think I'll care about you?" "Humph, you've been paid." Shin Chen curled her lips. "Don't you claim to be China's top bodyguard? If you can't protect me, you'll ruin your reputation. I'm a top bodyguard. And this is a title I won, not a self-proclaimed one." Li Fan's forehead was covered with cold sweat. "Who cares? In short, don't stop me. This is a place I must come to. Then I'll accompany you." "You're so annoying, can't you go back? I don't want you to die." Li Fan reminded, "For my honor, I have to protect you." "Humph, come if you want, I'm not afraid of you." Shin Chen rolled her eyes. "Anyway, if you're attacked by magic, it has nothing to do with me. At that time, let them turn you into a sheep. No, turn you into a dog. A pig. You're opening an animal world." Li Fan laughed and patted Shin Chen's back. "Let's go, whether it's a dragon's pool or a tiger's den, I have to go in and take a look." "This place is not a dragon's pool or a tiger's den." Shin Chen led Li Fan, pushed open the door of the hotel, and walked down the stairs. "This is a place where dark magi gather," Shin Chen said. "This place is filled with black magic, black magic." Li Fan laughed. "White magic? I have a group of white magicians around me. I'll introduce them to you later." "So powerful." "Yes." Li Fan narrowed his eyes. "Humph, I can tell that you're talking nonsense." Shin Chen lowered his voice. "But this is indeed a place where dark magi gather. Don't make too much noise." There were oddly shaped fireplaces hanging on the surrounding walls. As Li Fan and the others walked, they lit up one by one. No need for Shin Chen to say it, Li Fan already felt a burst of ill intent. There seemed to be someone not to be trifled with hiding in the depths. Why would Shin Chen come to such a place? And from the looks of it, it didn't seem to be her first time here. The stairs seemed to have been walking for a year before they finally arrived at the hall below. There were a few wooden tables in the hall, and next to them was a bar. There were not many guests inside. Everyone covered their faces with a cloak, and their appearance couldn't be seen clearly. The bartender at the bar also wore a mask, full of mystery. These people were whispering. After Li Fan and the others came in, everyone's eyes immediately fell on them. Li Fan could feel that these people seemed to be looking at Shin Chen. "Private room number 3. Shin Chen pulled Li Fan tightly and said to the bartender. The bartender didn't say anything. He just took out a simple copper key and handed it to Shin Chen. Shin Chen took it and pulled Li Fan to the door of the bathroom. Li Fan walked over first, opened the door of the bathroom, and checked it. There was only an ordinary bathroom inside, nothing special. But Shin Chen tugged at him, shook his head at him, and asked Li Fan to stand aside. Shin Chen inserted the key into the bathroom's keyhole and then opened the door again. The room inside changed from a toilet to a tea room. What the fuck? Li Fan was a little surprised. Spatial magic again. The United Kingdom was really interesting. Li Fan and Shin Chen walked in. There was no one in the tea room, only a cup of hot English tea on the table. It doesn't seem to be your first time here, right? Li Fan looked at Shin Chen sitting in front of the chair and immediately questioned. I have never been to UK. Shin Chen hurriedly explained, this bar. I encountered it when I was in China. But it only appeared once and then disappeared. Shin Chen recalled that she was beaten and scolded by her adoptive father. She escaped from home and mistakenly entered this bar. It was here that a man who claimed to be a dark wizard promised her that she could be loved by her family. Shin Chen agreed, and then she became famous because of her good singing. A dark wizard helped you fulfill your wish. Li Fan was a little puzzled. No matter how powerful the magic is, it can't make a person's voice sound good, right? Other than that, are there any other conditions? No, he only said that this wish can only last for 5 years. After 5 years, I must come to him again. I didn't take it seriously at the time, but now it seems that he didn't lie to me. I see. Li Fan nodded and then looked above. Sir, you've been watching the show for a long time. Isn't it time to come out? As expected of a martial artist from China, you're indeed very powerful. You can actually detect my presence so easily. There was a portrait of a man hanging on the wall. The man walked out of the painting and stood in front of them. The moment he came out, the man put on a black cloak and covered his face. After he walked out, he knelt down in front of Shin Chen. Great Son of God, you're finally back. I've waited for you for a long time. The throne of God is also looking forward to you. What the hell are you talking about? Shin Chen frowned. I'm here to cure my throat. That's your voice of God. Mortals aren't worthy to listen to it. The man's face was full of worship. 5 years ago, I found you. I originally wanted you to awaken. Unexpectedly, the Magic Association found me. I had no choice but to interrupt the ceremony and leave that place. But now, the will of heaven has guided you back to my side. Friend, can you explain it more clearly? Li Fan sat there. Don't act like a chinibu, okay? Hee, tiny Chinese martial artist, how do you know the power of black magic? The cloaked man said arrogantly, this is the ancestor of our black magic, the reincarnation of the Son of God. To be able to witness the descent of the Son of God is your honor. Mortal. Chapter 1042. The cloaked man laughed out loud, but Shin Chen glared at him. Are you done? Quickly fulfill my wish. God. As your servant, of course, I will fulfill your wish. The cloaked man's face was filled with excitement. Not only me, all of your slaves will immediately return to your side. With that said, the cloaked man suddenly took out a cane from behind him and knocked it on the ground. A ripple spread out, and the space of the tea room suddenly expanded. Door after door appeared in the surrounding space. The door was pushed open, and many figures wearing the same cloaks walked in and knelt in front of Shin Chen. God! You are finally back. Great God, I can finally live to see you again. We await your guidance, God. All of them prostrated themselves in front of Shin Chen. Shin Chen was completely stunned. What is this situation? Shin Chen frowned, not knowing what to do. Although she was worshipped in China, she had never been worshipped like this before. This was obviously worshipping a god, right? You guys are mistaken, I am Shin Chen, a singer, not your god. Shin Chen explained. No, you are our god. I will awaken you now. You will understand everything. The cloaked man said, raised the cane in his hand, and pointed it at Shin Chen. Li Fan walked over and blocked in front of her, looking at the dark magicians in front of him. Sorry, I am paid, I cannot let you touch her. Get lost, ignorant Chinese martial artist. The cloaked man waved his cane, trying to pull Li Fan away. But Li Fan still stood there, not moving. The cloaked man was stunned for a moment. He waved his cane again, and the tea table beside him suddenly flew up, smashing towards Li Fan. Bang! Li Fan smashed the tea table with a palm, his expression unchanged. You magicians are really interesting. With such little strength, you want to act rashly in front of me. Take back the god's child. The cloaked man raised his cane and shouted. The dark wizards around him also took out their staffs and were ready to attack Li Fan together with their magic. But at this moment, the door to the room was suddenly pushed open, and one man after another in a suit came in. They waved their staffs and attacked a few dark wizards with magic. The remaining dark magi immediately retaliated, and both sides began to fight. Lawrence, who Leylin had met before, was also among them. He used fire magic to defeat a dark magus and walked over. As expected, this is a great harvest. Lawrence was all smiles. Not only did we capture the Son of God, we also captured all of you dark magi. I'm afraid I'm going to be promoted 3 ranks this time. Derpy was fighting with the other demon police officers. He glanced at Lawrence, but there was some concern in his eyes. Although Lawrence's strategy was flawless, for some reason, Derby was still a little worried. That's enough, Lawrence. You have no business here. A man in a black coat walked in. With a wave of his staff, he sent 3 dark wizards flying. This man was obviously very strong. Derpy knew this guy. His name was Orleans, a level 5 wizard who was only 1 step away from becoming an archmage. Orleans was now the vice president of the Magic Association and was in charge of the discipline of the magic world. This time, he was here to eliminate the Son of God. I warned you not to come here. Since you're here, die. Orleans raised his staff and aimed it at Shin-Chin. His elemental life was an ice sprite. This little thing released countless ice crystals and attacked Shin-Chin. Before Li Fan could do anything, the cloaked man had already blocked in front of Shin-Chin and lifted his cloak to block the ice crystals. Damn you, Orleans, I won't let you touch the god. Li Fan crossed his arms and watched the show from the side. He could see that Orleans's magic level was about the same as the cloaked man's. He didn't know why they started fighting, but he could watch a wonderful 3D movie from the front row. What? What the hell is going on? Shin-Chen was very puzzled. Her beautiful eyes widened as she looked at the dazzling scene of these people fighting in front of her. Let them fight, we should go home. Li Fan was not interested in playing with them anymore. No, my throat is not healed yet, Shin-Chen shook her head. Suddenly, the cloaked man roared. God, drink that cup of tea. Your throat will recover. Really? Shin-Chen's eyes lit up and she immediately walked toward the tea. Although the tea table had flown away, the cup of tea was still floating in the air as if it was waiting for someone. Don't go over there. Li Fan wanted to stop Shin-Chen, but the 2 dark wizards released their magic at the same time and attacked Li Fan. Li Fan waved his crane's hand and slapped away the magic. Shin-Chen had already raised the cup of tea. Almost all the dark wizards gave up on defense and attacked Li Fan together. Even Li Fan felt the pressure in the haste. He roared and the great war god popped out from his back and tried to grab Shin-Chen. Don't drink it. Li Fan roared. I want to find my voice. However, Shin-Chen had already drunk the tea into his stomach. The great war god touched Shin-Chen, but it was too late. A huge force flew out from Shin-Chen's body and rushed in all directions. The great war god's wrist was shattered by this force. Li Fan was also blown away and looked at Shin-Chen who was slowly floating in the air. Not good, Orleans frowned and released a magic barrier to block the magic that was rushing in all directions. The cloaked man and the other dark wizards were the same, kneeling on the ground and looking at Shin-chin, who was floating in the air with tears in his eyes. "Wizards, listen to my command, attack that devil." Orlan's raised his scepter and released his strongest spell, attacking Shin-chin together with his companions. Shin-chin suddenly opened his eyes, stretched out a finger, and shattered these magic spells. "Foolish mortals, you want to fight me?" Shin-chin let out a muffled voice, "Ants, laughable." With a wave of Shin-chen's hand, these magicians were sent flying and crashed into the surrounding walls. Li Fan frowned and looked at Shin-chin, who was floating in the air. "Shin-chin. Mortal." Shin-chen's gaze fell on Li Fan. "I have to thank you for protecting my body so many times. What do you want? I can grant you one wish." "Wish? Then give Shin-chin back to me." Li Fan already felt something was wrong. "Can you do it?" "That girl, she was only a vessel. Now that I have awakened, her soul is already dead." Shin-chin floated in the air and looked at Li Fan. "Mortal, don't be foolish, cherish your chance. I will ask you one last time, what do you want?" Chapter 1043. I want your grandmother. Li Fan raised his eyebrows and looked at Shin-chin fiercely. If he wanted to take back Shin-chin, he would have to deal with this so-called god's child first. "Foolish mortal, it seems like you want to go your own way." Shin-chin sighed, "Then die in regret." "You want me to die just because you say so?" Li Fan took a step forward. "I'm afraid it won't be that easy." "Kneel." Shin-chin looked at Li Fan and gave the order. "Who will listen to you?" Before Li Fan could finish his words, his knees suddenly sank and he knelt down uncontrollably. "What's going on?" Li Fan was shocked. His body seemed to have been ordered by Shin-chen's words. But Li Fan was not to be trifled with. He released his true qi and wrapped it around his body, forcefully taking control of his body. "Oh." Shin-chen looked at Li Fan and was slightly surprised. "Your resistance is not bad, as expected of a martial artist from China." A trace of hatred appeared in Shin-chen's eyes as if he wanted to eat someone. "Back then, the person who killed me was China's Shangfang sword. But after so many years, I'm afraid the Shangfang sword is no longer here. Just a loser, what's there to show off?" Li Fan sneered. "Courting death." Shin-chen stretched out her hand and the cane in the cloaked man's hand immediately flew over and fell into her hand. A human-sized ice woman condensed and began to cast a spell at Li Fan. Li Fan's feet started to freeze and soon began to spread to his body. While Shin-chen was attacking Li Fan, Orlan suddenly used ice crystals to attack Shin-chen. "Ant!" Shin-chen scolded and released another ray of light from her cane. A huge ice spike rose from the ground and directly pierced through Orlan's body and pushed him up. More ice spikes pierced out from Orlan's body and dismembered him. "Quickly retreat." Lawrence gave the order and the people from the Magic Association gathered together and teleported away. Trying to run. No way. The remaining dark wizards continued to fight with them, while Lawrence and a few other mages fought back to bring up the rear. As for Li Fan, the frost had already frozen up to his shoulders. He stood there, still sneering. "Demon, do you think you can trap me like this?" "Shin-chen, I will definitely get it back." "You think you can do it?" "Die obediently." Shin-chen's cane released a more dazzling brilliance, and at this moment, Shin-chen's expression stagnated for a second. Lawrence grabbed Li Fan. "Follow me. The time pocket watch wants to trap me." Shin-chen moved again, but Lawrence had already curled up into a ball and disappeared from this space with Li Fan. "Hee, do you think you can escape?" Shin-chen sneered. With a wave of her hand, a chair flew over from the side and she sat on it. A black and gold cloak appeared on Shin-chen's body, and on his head was a pure gold crown. She sat with her chin resting on her hand. Go, find out where they are, and kill them without mercy. Yes. Everyone obeyed his orders, and the dark wizards all turned into black smoke and went out to search for Li Fan and the others. A little heartache. Shin Chen looked at the empty surroundings and let out a cold laugh. The spirit of that vessel is still causing trouble. Interesting. Wait until I kill Li Fan, then you'll be obedient. At this moment, Li Fan was thrown into a steel mill, and the surrounding temperature quickly melted the frost on his body. Lawrence stood at the side, and there was still a wound on his shoulder that kept bleeding. Who told you to save me? Li Fan looked at Lawrence. I haven't beaten that idiot yet. You can't win in her domain. Lawrence used his cane to touch the wound, and it was healing quickly. He heaved a sigh of relief. Li Fan said, Who is the Son of God? Why are you so worried? Son of God. Hee, that's what the dark wizards call him. Lawrence sneered, We call him the devil. What the hell is he? Do you know Devil Island? Lawrence said, She came from there. Devil Island. Li Fan once again heard the name of this place. It was Demon Island again. This place had a lot of hits recently. He would develop it later and make it a tourist attraction. Yes. But what does it have to do with me? I'll just kill him. Li Fan used his true qi to evaporate the water on his body. He stood up and stretched his body. You stay here, I'll go back and settle the score with him. Are you crazy? Lawrence grabbed Li Fan, We need to think about this. Think about it, my ass. You go find your magic association, I'll do my own thing. This time, if he didn't bring Shin Chen back, Li Fan wouldn't leave. The current Shin Chen is not the Shin Chen you know. Lawrence reminded him. I have to get her back. Do you think you're the only one who lost an important person? Lawrence's expression was cold. Debbie was just killed by a dark wizard, just to cover me. Debbie? The one you met on the plane before. Lawrence said, He's my lover. Li Fan was stunned for a moment. Damn, it really was a corrupt country. But I won't let his sacrifice be in vain. Lawrence's eyes were vicious. I want to avenge him, but with our strength, it's not enough to deal with that devil. Since we're on the same boat, you should listen to my command. Li Fan looked at Lawrence. In this England, he was more or less a local snake, and with the help of magic, it was still useful. I'm a member of the Magic Association, why should I listen to your command? Lawrence frowned. Because I can help you get revenge. Li Fan stretched his muscles and said, I'll do you a favor and you'll do me a favor. That way, it'll be fair, okay? Okay. Lawrence thought for a moment and agreed to Li Fan. After all, in his opinion, Li Fan was also a good fighter. Okay, then first tell me, where is Shin Chen now? She's in the tea room, that place is a floating space. I found it because I locked onto you before. Now, we can't find that place. But those dark wizards know. Li Fan's eyes rolled around. How many dark wizards' territories are there in England? As far as I know, there are 4. Lawrence thought for a moment, why are you asking this? To play with them. Li Fan wanted to save Shin Chen, and finding these dark wizards was the only way. He took out his phone, called Jessica, and told her that he would be staying in Europe for a few days. Do you like that girl very much? Lawrence asked him. How is that possible? Li Fan emphasized, I'm doing it for 200,000. Chapter 1044. Jessica was really anxious. She never expected that at the last moment, something would happen to Shin Chen and she would go missing. The agency actually gave up on looking for Shin Chen. Since she's missing, let her be. The big boss of the company told herself, anyway, we've already given up on her. Shen Chen, whose voice is broken, has lost all value. When Jessica received the call, she was really desperate. She could only pin her hopes on Li Fan. This amazing Chinese man. Is this the place? At this time, Li Fan, also wearing a black cloak, followed beside Lawrence. In front of them was a subway station, which was bustling with people and passengers. This is the place. Lawrence nodded. Now the Association of Mages is doing its best to resist the attack of the Dark Wizards, and even the Dark Wizards have penetrated deep into the upper echelons. We can't pin our hopes on the Association, only you and me. Isn't this just right? Li Fan smiled. I like peace and don't like outsiders disturbing me. I hope we can survive. Lawrence was just making a last effort. He touched Derby's photo. I will come to accompany you soon. Don't worry, we will survive. Li Fan patted Lawrence on the shoulder. Of course, if you can pay, I will protect you very well. Hey, Chinese escort, this is the British magic world, you won't be able to adapt here. Lawrence sneered, our actions may be completely ineffective. Really? Let's see. But now, it's your job, right? Leave it to me. Lawrence took out the time pocket watch and pressed the switch. Everything around them stopped, even the subway that was gradually entering the platform stopped there. The time on the monitor also stopped, stuck at the number 17:15 in the afternoon. Done. Lawrence put away the pocket watch. This thing is too convenient. Li Fan looked at the time pocket watch and felt that it was a bit amazing. This is a necessary equipment for the demon police. Lawrence said, only third-level mages and above can wear it. Why doesn't everyone have a piece of such a useful thing? This magic pocket watch can't be used casually. Lawrence explained, all magic is an equivalent exchange. We are summoning powerful magic power, and at the same time, we are exchanging the same items. As for stopping time, what it consumes is the user's time. Shortening lifespan. Li Fan understood. Yes, as long as you stop, you have to pay. Lawrence nodded. It's a fair exchange. All right. Li Fan also wanted to get a pocket watch to play with, but he gave up after hearing what Lawrence said. It was a watch that had a short lifespan. Forget it. Lawrence picked up his cane and knocked on the door in front of him. The door to the bathroom slowly opened, and a dark aura floated out. Why do you always like to set the entrance in the bathroom? Li Fan was a little confused. The most common place is the safest place. Lawrence casually explained, what's more, this is not our place, but the gathering place of the Dark Wizards. With that, he walked in first. Be careful, don't die. Li Fan followed behind. The two seemed to pass through a wave of water and then came to an empty room. This place was about 200 square meters, dimly lit, and at the front was a huge statue that looked like a devil with black wings on its back. This is the devil. Lawrence looked at the huge statue. His eyes seemed to be blurred for a moment, but soon returned to normal. He has a voice that can confuse people. This is a very terrifying ability. I see. Li Fan finally knew why Shen Chen's voice was so beautiful. Which department are you from? At this moment, a cloaked man standing in front of the statue suddenly raised his cane and pointed it at Li Fan. Tell me your names. It's the priest here. Lawrence reminded Li Fan, be quiet, leave it to me. I'm Carl from the 3rd Division. I heard that the god is back, so I came to contribute my strength. Is that so? Take off your cloak and let me see your face. Behind the priest stood 4 dark wizards. They all held their canes, waiting to check Lawrence and Li Fan. Okay, I'll stop wasting time, I'm Li Fan. Li Fan took off his cloak, and Lawrence was so scared that his heart almost stopped. What was this guy doing? Was he crazy? There were 5 dark magi here, and one of them was a rank 4 priestess. Kill them! The priest roared, and suddenly the god of war appeared behind Li Fan. He slapped the priest to the ground, and with a wave of his hand, the remaining 4 dark wizards flew out and hit the wall. I'll only ask you once. Where is Shin-Chin? Li Fan squatted down and asked the priest who was lying on the ground. Damn it, the priest was enraged. He raised his cane, lightning guards, protect me. A golden thunderball flew out, but Li Fan reached out and crushed the thunderball that had yet to take shape. I don't have much patience. Tell me, where is Shin-Chen? Li Fan lowered his voice, and there was anger in his voice. Lawrence was dumbfounded. Such a destructive attack. Chinese martial artists were indeed powerful. I won't tell you even if I die, you damn Huaxia people. The priest was still yelling, what are you all doing? Kill them. The remaining 4 dark magi all got up and raised their staffs, ready to attack Li Fan and the others. Courting death. Li Fan stepped on the priest with one foot and stood up at the same time. He hit the 4 dark wizards with his palm. Ursa Major Seal. The powerful palm wind directly blasted the 4 of them into pieces. A huge palm print was left on the opposite wall, and the 4 dark wizards seemed to be completely obliterated. Lawrence's eyes almost popped out. Killing 4 dark wizards with a wave of his hand. This combat power seemed to be very powerful. I'll give you one last chance. Where is Shin-Chin? Do you really want to know where God is? Ha ha ha, I won't tell you. Go to hell. The priest's cane suddenly lit up, and Lawrence was shocked. Not good, he's going to self-destruct. Humph. Li Fan used his tiger claw and directly dug out his heart and crushed it in his hand. The vigorous magic power also slowly dissipated. Shin-Chen, don't worry. I'll definitely save you. Chapter 1045. Reporting to God. All of our bases in England have been destroyed. The cloaked man knelt in front of Shin-Chen and kept apologizing to her. Oh. Who destroyed them? Magic Association's Magic Police Lawrence, and that Chinese man. That Chinese martial artist. Shin-Chen seemed to be a bit lazy, let them be. That's our foundation, God, since they can be easily eliminated, then there's no value in staying. Shin-Chen waved her hand, I never keep trash by my side. But, what about our plan to conquer the world? I don't have the mood to conquer the world recently. Shin-Chen held her chin and leaned on the chair. God, don't bother me. Shin-Chen glared at him and the cloaked man curled up on the ground in fear. I may have been a bit slack recently. Shin-Chen sighed, then let's first conquer this city, as the first God's city. Thank you so much, God. We are willing to sacrifice our lives for God. Take the lead. Send out the magic order, gather in front of the city hall. Yes. The cloaked man went down happily. I can't believe your soul can still continue to cause trouble. Shin-Chen said to herself, after I use powerful magic to conquer this city, you will disappear completely. With that, she waved her hand and disappeared from the tea room. When she reappeared, she was standing in front of the London City Hall. Shin-Chen floated on the ground and slowly moved toward the government gate. Who is it? Stop. The 2 guards in front of the city hall immediately pulled out their pistols and aimed at Shin-Chen. Stupid mortal, kill yourself. Shin-Chen ordered. The 2 guards sneered, who do you think you are, you can order us? Although they said that, their hands were not under control, they raised their pistols and aimed at each other. "What are you doing, Charles?" I don't know, aren't you also aiming at me?" "Be careful, I'm out of control." The two pulled the trigger at the same time and hit each other's forehead. "I am the great god, I give you 10 minutes to surrender immediately. Otherwise, you will all die." 5 minutes later, the government in London was mobilized. The mayor of London looked at the surveillance screen in front of him. A half-masked woman was floating there, holding a cane in her hand, standing on a tower-shaped statue in front of the city hall. She was surrounded by bodies, all of them London commandos. In the past, they had killed many terrorists and criminals, but today, they were mercilessly slaughtered. "It's a dark wizard. Where are the people from the Magic Association?" The mayor of London knew a little about the magic world. They had an agreement with the Magic Association. The Magic Association should be the one to handle the magic world's affairs. The people from the Magic Association have already contacted them. "We've sealed off this area. They'll be here soon." As soon as he finished speaking, one figure after another appeared beside the statue. "The people from the Magic Association are here." The secretary stood beside the mayor and heaved a sigh of relief. "There's no problem now." "Not necessarily." A British-looking man suddenly appeared beside the mayor. He took off his hat and bowed to the mayor. "Hello, Honorable Mayor. I'm Lawrence, a Level 3 demon police officer." "What is that?" The mayor reprimanded them. "What's wrong with your Magic Association? Why did you let such a powerful person escape? Do you know how much pressure you put me under? And these dead commandos, they did the job you were supposed to do. They were all innocent sacrifices." "I'm sorry, Sir Mayor, but this person's power is not something we can control." Lawrence said, "Even the Archmage can't deal with her." "How is it possible, Before the mayor finished his scolding, he was suddenly shocked by the scene on the screen. Those magicians from the Magic Association, one by one, raised their scepters, aimed at each other, and then were shot dead by their companions. How is this possible?" "I said, she's not someone we can deal with." Lawrence reminded the mayor again. "Mayor, Bordeaux is here." The secretary suddenly excitedly reminded the mayor. "Great." The mayor was also excited. "Now we're saved." London's Archmage. Lawrence looked at the screen, his eyes seemed to have a little expectation. This powerful Lord Warlock might really be able to weaken the evil demons. And on the screen, a middle-aged man wearing a white suit stood there, slightly bowing to Shin-Chin. "Dear Miss Devil, I pay my respects to your powerful magic power." "Archmage." Shin-Chen looked at the Archmage Bordeaux standing there, his expression was still calm. "That's right." Bordeaux nodded. "I'm not talented, please return to Demon Island. After coming out from there, naturally I won't go back." Shin-Chen slowly said, "I think you're pretty good, I'll give you a chance to be my subordinate." "I'll have to disappoint you." Bordeaux smiled. "Your existence will only destroy the balance of this world. A true magician respects the law of equivalent exchange and protects the balance of this world. Since that's the case, I can't keep you." Shin-Chen held his scepter and summoned his frost messenger. The humanoid ice woman floated in the air, stretched out her hands, and summoned a frost storm. The sky suddenly began to snow, and the ground condensed with cold frost. Bordeaux raised his scepter. He had the wind elemental envoy. The Archmage's elemental envoy was the size of a 7 or 8-year-old child. It opened its hands and opened a wind wall for Bordeaux, blocking the surrounding cold. "As expected of a devil, your magic power is really strong." Bordeaux could not help but praise. "This place has almost become a world of ice and snow." The City Hall building was covered in snow. It was obviously autumn, but London seemed to have ushered in winter. 10 minutes have passed, everyone must die. Shin-Chen pointed his scepter at Bordeaux. I'll start with you. As he spoke, a frost storm engulfed Bordeaux's body. Wind blades flew out and cut open the frost storm. Bordeaux stood there, holding his scepter in his hand. I'm sorry, I can't die yet. Bordeaux said, as London's archmage, I can't tolerate you destroying this city. Oh, I'm not destroying it, I'm conquering it. Shin-Chen was expressionless. This is just the beginning, those who don't obey me must die. Chapter 1046. With that, Shin-Chen pointed his scepter at Bordeaux again. I admit, your strength is indeed good, but unfortunately, your opponent is God. With that, Bordeaux's body suddenly flew up. His wind elemental sprite was about to counterattack, but was suddenly pierced through by Shin-Chen's ice elemental sword and turned into ashes. As expected of a demon, such powerful strength. Blood was already dripping from the corner of Bordeaux's mouth, but his eyes were still firm. For this city, I have long been prepared to sacrifice myself. Respected demon, everything in this world has to be exchanged for equal value. Bordeaux took out the time pocket watch in his hand. Use my time to stop your time. Time pocket watch. Shin-Chen frowned, seemingly a little afraid, but Bordeaux had already pressed the pocket watch. His expression was stiff, and his whole body began to become completely still, as if he was frozen forever. But Shin-Chen put down his scepter and sighed softly. Everything in this world is indeed equivalent exchange. But I have endless life, even if you use all your life to stop my time, it's just a drop in the bucket. Bordeaux. Did he fail? The mayor saw all this in the surveillance video, his face pale, not daring to believe the truth. Bordeaux was London's magic god, a legendary level 6 magician. Back then, in order to destroy the creator, England sent 3 magic gods in a row to pacify the Golden Empire. These 3 people were known as the 3 saints, and Bordeaux was one of them. But now, a so-called demon actually killed the magic god Bordeaux. How was this possible? Could it be? Doomsday is really coming. The mayor's face was ashen. Mayor, the nearest army has arrived. Is it the Royal Air Force? Yes. The secretary's words made the mayor calm down again. Great, this time, no matter what kind of demon he is, he's dead. The Royal Air Force was England's trump card. The mayor was waiting for them to destroy this damn demon. The association of mages is really too useless, we still have to rely on our modern army. The mayor sneered. Hope. It's a little useful. Lawrence didn't say too much, he just stood silently in the surveillance room, watching everything on the screen. A total of 8 fighters, all of England's top fighters, formed a formation and flew toward Shin-Chen. Lock onto the target and launch the Viper missile. The captain of the formation gave the order to prepare a wave of missiles to eliminate Shin-Chen. But Shin-Chen stood on top of the statue, raised her staff high, and released magic towards the sky. The frost spread out, and the missiles that flew in front of Shin-Chen were all frozen into ice cubes. Then, they fell around Shin-Chen and smashed into the ground. Freeze! Under the release of Shin-Chen's magic, the surrounding airplanes were all frozen into ice sculptures. One by one, they fell from the sky and smashed into pieces. Shin-Chen stood there, surrounded by frozen airplanes. She wore a mask and stood on top of the statue. She did not look like a demon, but a god of destruction who came to destroy the world. A lot of time has passed. Since you are unwilling to surrender, then accept your punishment. Shin-Chen raised his cane high, the whole city, freeze as well. Shin-Chen, I haven't seen you for a few days. Why is your temper so bad? A figure passed through the cold fog and slowly walked in. Who is that? The mayor was shocked to see a Chinese man appear on the screen. He's a Chinese martial artist. Lawrence explained, he's our last hope. Nonsense. Even the magic god Bordeaux is no match for him. How can a Chinese man deal with him? To be honest, I don't believe it either. Lawrence said slowly, but who can we trust now? I hope that this Chinese man can give me more surprises. How can we rely on a Chinese man? He will definitely be killed. Who else can we rely on? My dear mayor. Lawrence pointed at the screen, what you can do is the same as me. Just watch here with peace of mind. If it's destruction, then let us face it together. There was some commotion in the monitoring room. Many people were crying. Everyone calm down. The mayor roared, suppressing these people. Look at you, what are you all doing? Everyone calm down. Only then did the people in the monitoring room quiet down. As the mayor of London, I will fight with you until the last moment. The Third Army will be here soon. I hope that this Chinese man can hold on for 10 minutes. Everyone placed their hopes on this Chinese man. At this moment, Li Fan looked at Shen Chen in front of him. Shen Chen was surrounded by ice and snow, engulfing his body. Li Fan was only wearing a sportswear, but he stood in the snow, unscathed. The soul of this vessel doesn't seem to want to kill you. Shen Chen looked at Li Fan, let my servant do it. With that, she raised her staff and opened a magic door in the air. One by one, the dark wizards jumped out of the magic door. Great God, you finally called us. The cloaked man led hundreds of dark wizards. These are your troops, please give your orders. Kill this man. Shen Chen said to the cloaked man, I will grant you the magic of the magic god. Shen Chen pointed at the cloaked man, and his god immediately shone with black light. Even his appearance had become much younger. Thank you, God. The cloaked man kowtowed to Shen Chen, tears of gratitude flowed down his face. My God, she actually casually created a magic god. The secretary took a deep breath. Is she really a god? No, she is a demon. Lawrence emphasized. So scary. Are we finished? Don't worry, let's watch first. The mayor pinned his last hope on this Chinese man, hoping that he could hold on for a while longer. More than 100 dark magi took out their staffs at the same time, summoned their elemental life forms, and released their spells to attack Li Fan. Humph. Li Fan coldly snorted, if that's the case, then I will kill you first. He put on a golden armor and walked forward step by step. All kinds of magic bombarded his body, but they were all blocked by his golden armor. Li Fan was not affected in the slightest, letting the magic explode. Seeing Li Fan walking over step by step, the cloaked man was somewhat angry. Trash, haven't you eaten? Hurry up and kill him. Humph. Li Fan coldly snorted. He suddenly took a step forward and punched forward with his right fist. Bang! The statue was directly smashed by Li Fan's fist, and the wind from the fist swirled around, killing dozens of dark wizards at the same time. Chapter 1047. The berserk fist aura engulfed the surroundings of the statue. More than a dozen dark magi did not even have the time to scream before they were smashed into meat paste by Li Fan's fist aura. The remaining dark magi were shocked. As Shen Chen floated into the air, they released even more powerful magic, wanting to kill Li Fan. However, Li Fan's feet bounced off the ground, and he continuously used Cloud Ladder, ascending to a height of 100 meters. Li Fan's body turned upside down, and he looked at the ground and struck out with his palm. Dragon King Seal. As if a divine dragon's claw had descended from the sky, a 10-meter-long palm print appeared on the ground. More than a dozen dark magi were smashed into meat paste by Li Fan's palm, not even leaving behind their corpses. In the blink of an eye, Li Fan landed on the ground, and his body moved like a tank. He grabbed the extraordinary sword, and with a shake of his hand, the hilt of the sword lengthened and the blade shortened, transforming into a black spear that he held in his hand. Li Fan wielded the black spear and slaughtered his way through the crowd. His black spear could easily pierce through a dark magus throat every time, taking away their lives. This black spear was like the weapon of the Grim Reaper, and not a single dark magus could escape from it. Damned Chinese! Let me personally destroy him. The cloaked man spoke and raised his cane, aiming it at Li Fan. Go to! Before he could finish his words, Li Fan's spear had already pierced through his heart, and he was flung into the air, landing on his shoulder. Shen Chen, it's just the two of us left. Li Fan was surrounded by the corpses of dark magi. He stood on the ground, shouldered his spear, and looked at Shen Chen, who was floating in the air. I haven't settled the matter from the last time. How about we settle it this time? Seems like I have to do it myself. Shen Chen sighed, then ordered, kneel. You still want to control me? Li Fan laughed coldly, I've already prepared for this. With the golden armor on his body, Li Fan blocked Shen Chen's incantation attack. What an interesting Huaxia warrior. However, it ends here. Shen Chen ordered the Frost Messenger. Freeze him. The Frost Messenger blew at Li Fan. Immediately, frost began to condense on Li Fan's feet and spread to his body. However, Li Fan did not care. The true qi in his body began to heat up, and in the blink of an eye, the frost melted and evaporated. Shen Chen, it's time to come back. As Li Fan spoke, he bent his knees slightly, jumped up, and rushed head-on towards Shen Chen, who was above his head. He mercilessly aimed his spear at Shen Chen's throat. He was warning this fellow that if he did not leave Shen Chen's body, he would die. Fool! Shen Chen snorted coldly, and the elemental messenger created a frost crystal in front of her, blocking Li Fan's attack. Li Fan did not stop and directly stabbed out with his spear. There is no power that can break through my ice shield. Without waiting for Shen Chen to finish, Li Fan's spear had already pierced through her shield and arrived in front of Shen Chen's throat in the blink of an eye. Shen Chen raised her cane and released a strong cold air, striking Li Fan out. So scary. Li Fan flipped in the air and landed on the ground again, stabilizing his body. Your energy is quite strong. Shen Chen frowned, the strength of this Huaxia martial artist has exceeded her imagination. In that case, I will use all my strength to kill you. Shen Chen held the frost elemental's hand and instantly merged with her. She put on a silver-white combat coat, her body carried a cold air, and pointed a finger at Li Fan. Countless icicles rose from the ground and stabbed at Li Fan. However, Li Fan swung his spear and immediately cut those icicles. It's useless, Shen Chen, you are not my opponent. Last time, Li Fan was careless, but this time, Li Fan did not underestimate his opponent. Since you are not willing to leave Shen Chen's body, then I will kill you. He carried his spear and walked step by step towards Shen Chen. Oh. You don't care about this girl. Since it is painful, why not let me end it? After Li Fan merged with his heart demon, once he made a decision, he would not hesitate anymore. He suddenly jumped up and stabbed his spear at Shen Chen. Shen Chen raised her hands and erected an ice wall in front of Li Fan. Bang, bang, bang. Li Fan moved forward and stabbed the great spear in his hand at Shen Chen. This great spear pierced through 7 ice walls in a row, broke through all of Shen Chen's defenses, and finally arrived in front of her. Humph! Shen Chen picked up a frost shield and lifted it up, knocking away Li Fan's spear from the side. At the same time, her other hand picked up an ice sword and slashed at Li Fan's neck. This is a bit interesting. Li Fan held his great spear and exchanged a few blows with Shin Chin. Dang, dang, dang. Sparks flew in all directions as the two of them exchanged more than 20 blows in an instant. However, Shin Chen was forced to retreat again and again. Whether it is physical strength or fighting skills, she is not Li Fan's opponent. Soon, she was forced into a corner by Li Fan. At the same time, a spear landed on her shoulder and she was sent flying by Li Fan. Bang! Shin Chen fell to the ground, her eyes flashing with shock. The mayor in front of the monitor was even more surprised. This Chinese martial artist is actually suppressing the demon. How can Chinese martial artists be so powerful? No wonder the British Magic Association was not willing to go to China in recent years. Shin Chen, goodbye. Li Fan held his spear and stepped on Shin Chen's chest, making it impossible for her to dodge. At the same time, Li Fan's spear was aimed at Shin Chen's throat and was about to stab it. Just as Li Fan's spear was about to stab, a black mist suddenly flew out from Shin Chen's body. This mist condensed into a black figure in the air. It flapped a pair of black wings on its back. Its appearance is very similar to the statue that Li Fan saw at the sacrificial altar. This black demon turned its head and rushed towards Li Fan. Since it is like this, then possess your god. Li Fan frowned. At this time, Mr. Yang's figure appeared in the air and grabbed the black demon's waist. A little spirit body also dares to stop me. The black demon flapped its wings and pushed Mr. Yang to the side. Li Fan also brandished his spear, but his spear passed through the black demon and could not hurt its body at all. This black demon is a kind of spiritual power. Li Fan is unable to resist it. He took 2 steps back, but the black demon was already in front of him. If it possessed his body, this guy would probably be invincible in the world. However, at this moment, a golden sword suddenly fell from the sky and pierced the black demon's body. A figure landed on the sword and lowered his head, looking at the demon below him. Sorry, this person belongs to me. Chapter 1048. Shang. Fong. Bao. Sword. The black demon roared, his voice was filled with unwillingness. Yes, yes, old friend, thank you for remembering me. Wang Luo stood on top of the sword, I will send you to the afterlife, Amitabha. As Wang Luo's voice fell, the black demon's body disappeared. Why are you here? Li Fan looked at Wang Luo in surprise. Idiot, hurry up and leave, or else you won't be able to leave later. Wang Luo pointed to the army that was gradually approaching. Once they approached, Li Fan would indeed be in some trouble. Then I'll leave first. Li Fan picked up Shin Chen, then jumped up and followed behind Wang Luo. Using Qinggong, he disappeared from the building in the blink of an eye. The mayor sat down on the chair and let out a long sigh of relief. The crisis this time was finally resolved. But they didn't rely on the local experts of England, but the martial artists of China. This made the mayor feel lucky, but at the same time, he felt a strong sense of insecurity. Go, find out who that man is. The mayor ordered the secretary, who also let out a sigh of relief, try to make him our nationality. If it doesn't work, we can't keep him. Lawrence, who is that Chinese man? I only know one of them. Lawrence shrugged his shoulders, and we're only cooperating for a period of time. I know the other one, he's China's Shang Fang sword, the guardian of China. China. Why are there so many abnormal people? Lawrence was a little dumbfounded. No wonder the Association of Mages forbade mages from entering China. Lawrence really didn't understand before, but now he finally understood. It seems that this young man may be the next generation of Shangfang's sword that China is training. The mayor of London frowned as he ordered Lawrence. Use my command, let the Association of Mages send another 2 Saint-level mages over, with 100 level 5 mages from the Association of Mages. If he doesn't want to become our nationality, kill this man overnight. Absolutely, we can't let him leave England. Lawrence was silent for a moment. What, you don't want to? No, I'm happy to help. Lawrence nodded, everything is for the Empire where the sun never sets. Well, it's good that you understand. The mayor of London picked up the telephone and handed it to Lawrence. Use my phone to call the Magic Association. Hurry up. Li Fan and Wang Luo were currently staying in an uninhabited house in the suburbs of London. Wang Luo was skillfully working in the kitchen, preparing 2 dinners and placing them on the table. My cooking skills are amazing. Come, have a taste of my cooking. Looking at the 2 plates of egg fried rice in front of him, Li Fan was speechless. You call this amazing? Don't you read novels and dramas? The male lead usually conquers everything with the simplest egg fried rice. Wang Luo said with a smile. Fuck, isn't that a web novel? It's pure bullshit. How can egg fried rice taste good? I've read too many Cooking Master Boy novels. Li Fan curled his lips. I want to have a feast after fighting a demon. The egg fried rice is very nutritious and suitable for replenishing energy. Wang Luo advised Li Fan earnestly, don't be picky, young man. Also, hurry up and eat. Once you're done, we'll have to run. Run? Run for what? Li Fan was a little confused. Shin Chen and I are flying tomorrow. If you want to run, why don't you run by yourself? Do you think that after causing such a ruckus in London, they will let you go back safely? Fuck, I saved them. If you can save them, you can naturally destroy them. Wang Luo explained to Li Fan with a smile. If it were you, would you let such a terrifying enemy go back? It seems like I can't. Li Fan nodded. I understand what you mean. And then hurry up and eat. We'll leave after we're done. Wang Luo sat beside Li Fan and picked up the chopsticks. When we reach China, they'll be well behaved. But there's also a group of people in China who want to kill me, right? Li Fan thought of the Holy War plan. It's the same for those in power. After using us, they'll just abandon us. Take over the Shangfang sword. Wang Luo said to Li Fan while eating the egg fried rice. The Grim Reaper has stopped on my shoulder. The next time you're in such danger, I won't be able to help you. I can rely on myself. I don't need your help. Li Fan still had this stubborn temper. Little friend, I had the same temper as you when I was young. Wang Luo was not angry. I won't turn back until I hit the wall. You mean you hit the wall? Li Fan quickly ate the egg fried rice and then asked. Then I won't tell you. Wang Luo maintained his sense of mystery. Take this little girl, we should leave. Are they here? And, faster than I thought. Speaking of which, why didn't you leave earlier? Li Fan could not help but ask. How can we run if we don't eat? Wang Luo laughed. Besides, are you going to swim back? The ship I contacted has just arrived at the port and is waiting for us. All right. Li Fan carried Shin Chen on his back and then tied her up with a rope. Let's go. Be careful. Your weakness has already been found out by those British. Wang Luo reminded Li Fan. Then, holding his Shangfang sword, he flung his black coat and walked out of the door. However, Li Fan saw that Wang Luo's hair had already turned white. The last time he saw him, he still had black hair. In just a few days, he has aged so much. Wang Luo and Li Fan walked out of the small house. The originally dark outside was suddenly lit up, illuminating the surroundings as if it was daytime. A group of magicians in tuxedos surrounded them. Not only them, there were also a lot of people from the army. Li Fan took a look. There were 4 tanks with their cannons aimed at him. And 2 men in white tuxedos stood there. A man and a woman. Both of them were old and seemed to be god of magic. And Lawrence stood among them, pressing down on his western hat, leaning on his cane, looking at Li Fan. Li Fan, sorry, you can't escape. You guys are really killing the chef after eating. Li Fan sneered. Everyone is standing on different sides. Each for their own master. Please understand. I should let Chen eliminate you guys first. Li Fan sneered. This is my understanding of you guys. Don't talk like a child. Wang Luo patted Li Fan and then looked at the people in front of him and smiled happily. This scene is really touching. The last time you guys went against the creator, it was just like this, right? Chapter 1049. Sir Wang Luo, you can leave at any time. In Lawrence's hand is Bordeaux's cane. With the help of the Magic Association, he has forcefully increased his magic power and became the new mage god, replacing Bordeaux's position. He saluted Wang Luo. You are the imperial sword, we don't want to go against you. But this young man and this woman must stay. What? Wang Luo chuckled. What do you want to do to my disciple? The demon is already dead, you still won't let Chen go? Li Fan asked. As long as she is still alive, the demon may come back. Lawrence firmly said, so, Li Fan, I hope you can understand. Understand your grandma's leg. Li Fan angrily cursed, his temper still has a little bit of loyalty in it. We don't have to do it. Lawrence said to Li Fan, as long as you become a British citizen and become a warrior of Great Britain. At that time, the Queen will also give you a title. With your strength and this time's contribution to London and Britain, she will definitely give you a baron. At that time, you will enjoy endless glory and wealth, isn't that better? Although I didn't have a good time in China. But I can't betray my own people. Li Fan did not hesitate and directly rejected Lawrence's request. Then you want to be our enemy? If we don't agree, then half a sentence is too much. Li Fan gathered his true chi. Let's fight. Leave Li Fan. Lawrence raised his cane. All mages, use your spiritual magic. Under Lawrence's command, all the mages raised their canes and launched a spell at Li Fan. More than 100 advanced mages released the spiritual magic that Li Fan is least proficient in. There was no doubt about Li Fan's fighting ability, but at this moment, he felt as if there was a huge mountain pressing down on his heart, making him lose the desire to fight. He didn't even have the strength to move his body. It was as if he was sleeping in a nightmare, and Li Fan couldn't break free. As expected, you've discovered this kid's only weakness. Wang Luo stretched out his hand, pulled out his Shangfang sword, and held it in his hand. Since that's the case, there's no need for me to be polite with you. Do you really want to be enemies with us? Lawrence looked at Wang Luo in front of him. We have 3 archmages here and over 100 magicians of the 5th rank. It is indeed a big deal. Wang Luo nodded. Even during the crusade against the creator, I didn't see you guys expending so much effort. However, against my Shangfang treasured sword, your people are still not enough. As Wang Luo spoke, he carried his sword and walked towards the mages. Attack Wang Luo. Lawrence gave the order, and more than 100 magicians simultaneously released magic at Wang Luo. However, Wang Luo stretched out her hand and seemed to have released a barrier that easily blocked these spells. No matter how many magicians attacked, they couldn't even touch a hair on Wang Luo's body. Meanwhile, Wang Luo had already gotten close to a magician. With a wave of his hand, the magician's head was immediately chopped off. I feel like I'm going to kill quite a lot of people this time. Wang Luo's mouth hung a smile. However, it's just as well. I can find more people to accompany me. With me as the command, Tornado of Fury. A tornado wrapped around Wang Luo's body. This tornado tore the surrounding objects into pieces. With a wave of a sword, the tornado was sliced apart. Wang Luo walked out from inside, holding the Shangfang treasured sword in his hand. I'm sorry, archmages and whatnot, Wang Luo, have never placed them in my eyes. Empire's Lightning. Flame of Doomsday. The other two archmages also released their big magic. Lightning and flames descended from the sky at the same time, falling towards Wang Luo. However, Wang Luo raised his left hand and pointed at the sky. A car beside him immediately flew up and blocked the two magic attacks for him. Boom! The small car was directly blown apart, while Wang Luo stood below, safe and sound. He allowed the car parts to fall around him with flames. Wind pressure. However, Lawrence already had a plan. He suddenly made a sneak attack. A strong wind pressure blew Wang Luo's body away and he directly smashed onto a bus at the side, causing the bus to explode. Huaxia's sword is only so-so. Lawrence heaved a sigh of relief. After getting rid of Wang Luo, Li Fan would be easy to deal with. Ayaya, I've let you down. Wang Luo's voice rang out once again. He slowly walked out from the raging flames with the Shangfang treasured sword on his shoulder. He stretched out his hand and extinguished the flames on the corner of his clothes. Is there anything more exciting? Quickly take it out and let me have some fun. Lawrence's heart twitched. This Wang Luo is even more powerful than that demon. The mayor is right. If Li Fan becomes the next generation's Shangfang treasured sword, I'm afraid that the unsetting Sun Empire will never be able to rise again. This kind of country's sharp weapon must be cut down. I'm the only Shangfang treasured sword that doesn't know martial arts. Wang Luo held his treasured sword and continued to kill the surrounding mages as he said, however, after my disciple takes over, this weakness will be completely fixed. I won't let you guys go. Lawrence took out the pocket watch in his hand. Even if everyone can't kill you, I still have a trump card hidden up my sleeve. You want to sacrifice yourself to stop my time? Wang Luo could already see the determination in the other party's eyes. This Lawrence is probably for real. As long as I kill you, my companions will be able to execute Li Fan and the Devil's Child. Lawrence's finger was already pressed on the pocket watch. Goodbye, Huaxia's sword. Lawrence activated his last magic as he tried to take away Wang Luo's time. The two of them were aging at a speed visible to the naked eye. Very quickly, Wang Luo's hair turned white while Lawrence also turned from a handsome guy to a white-haired old man as he kneeled on the ground. The two mages attacked Wang Luo with their magic, but Wang Luo once again opened up a spiritual barrier, blocking their attacks. At the same time, she threw out her treasured sword and used her spiritual power to control the sword to kill the two mages before returning it to her hand. What? Lawrence trembled as he looked at Wang Luo in disbelief. My lifespan is quite long. Wang Luo's laughter carried the vicissitudes of life. If not for my body, I'm afraid I can still live for more than 100 years. Damn it. I miscalculated. Lawrence looked at the other two mages. You guys, who will take over my position, using one's life to stop time, this is a big magic that only a mage can use. But at this moment, the other two mages all flinched. There was despair in Lawrence's eyes. Chapter 1050. Goodbye, I'm coming for you. Before Lawrence died, he seemed to have seen something. His hopeless expression relaxed and turned into relief. Then, he fell to the ground and dropped his cane. He lost his life completely. But the remaining two archmages retreated under Wang Luo's attack. Although Wang Luo has a head of white hair, he is able to kill his way in and out as though he is invincible. With a mental shield in his left hand and an imperial sword in his right, every time he walks past a place, he would kill all the local mages. The four tanks were ready to move, but Wang Luo only used his mental power to turn the barrel of one of the tanks to aim at his comrade and fire. The tank troops killed each other and very quickly, they became scrap metal. Not long after, the troops that were sent over are almost all massacred. Wang Luo carries a sword as though he is invincible. Because too many mages have died, the mental suppression on Li Fan finally weakened. He stood up again and pulled out his extraordinary great spear. Dragging it behind him, he also killed the enemies around him. The two archmages looked at each other and felt that they could not hold on any longer, so they decided to retreat first. One sword of China is enough of a headache. Now there is another martial artist, Li Fan. What should they do? Retreat. The two archmages finally gave the order to retreat, but there is almost no one left alive to carry out this order. There are only 2 or 3 survivors left, and all of them are injured. Did you see your weakness? Wang Luo has a head of white hair. Different from the handsome man from before, the current him is as thin as a skeleton. Like a candle in the wind, it seems like he will die at any moment. Thank you. Li Fan looked at Wang Luo in front of him and was filled with emotions. This man who did not look like a decent man, in order to save him, he almost lost his life. Don't pity me. Wang Luo stared at him. I did not become like this because I helped you. Everyone will die one day, this is my fate. But before my life ends, I need to find the next generation sword of China. Let me think about it, if I have the time. Wang Luo sheathed her sword. It's fate that we've met. Before I die, I'll at least help you train your spiritual power. You want me to cultivate with you? More or less. I'll find someone to help you send this girl back to China. You and I will continue to stay abroad for a while. Why? The Holy War is currently being carried out in the country. Wang Luo reminded Li Fan, if you don't get rid of your shortcomings, you will still be targeted after you return to the country. If the British can discover it, so can they. All right, Li Fan agreed first. In order to increase his strength, it seemed like a good idea to train with Wang Luo for a while. He followed Wang Luo to the port, handed Shen Chen over to a friend of Wang Luo's and continued to stay in London with Wang Luo. Is it okay for us to stay here? Li Fan couldn't help but ask as he followed Wang Luo back to the small house. They think we've already returned to Huaxia. Wang Luo chuckled. I think that since they failed this time, they will probably choose to use diplomatic methods to force you to commit the crime. Diplomatic methods. Yes, provide some kind of benefit to the country's higher-ups, and then extradite you abroad. I won't agree to that. I've said it before, you have too many cases on you. Wang Luo reminded Li Fan, just give you 2 cases and you'll become a notorious murderer. Unless you take over the Shangfang sword, then no one has the right to hand it over to you, because you'll be the symbol of Huaxia. Wang Luo looked at the Shangfang sword hanging on the wall. Although it was a sword left behind from the Han dynasty, it was still well preserved. The scabbard was even carved with a 5-clawed golden dragon, vivid and lifelike. Where are you bringing me to train? Li Fan changed the topic. Rest for a night. I'll bring you to the Vatican tomorrow. Ah. Why are we going there? The Pope there owes me a favor. It's time for him to repay the debt. How are we going to go there? Li Fan couldn't help but ask. You'll know tomorrow. Go to sleep first and conserve your energy. Wang Luo pointed to the sofa in the living room and then returned to his room. Li Fan didn't know what to say to him. He could only toss his body onto the sofa and recall the recent events. After coming to England, it seemed like many things were messed up. His phone was also taken away by Wang Luo. For the time being, he couldn't contact Lin Yuhsan and the rest. He hoped that they wouldn't worry about him. Shen Chen should be able to return safely. Since he was Wang Luo's man, there shouldn't be any problems. While Li Fan was fighting for his life in London, the pugilistic world of Huaxia was also in turmoil. Shaolin. 108 arhats stood in the dojo outside. Each of them held a arhat staff in their hands, and all of them were pointing at a young man standing in the middle. Amitabha. The Shaolin abbot stood on the steps and looked at the young man who was surrounded by the formation. He couldn't help but recite the name of Buddha before asking. Almsgiverly, we have no enmity in the past and no grievances today. Why do you want to kill my Shaolin disciple? The young man stood in the middle without saying a word. He just reached out and grabbed the bald head of a Shaolin arhat beside him. His 5 fingers pierced through his skull. Tiger Claw. Amitabha. If that's the case, then let's let Almsgiverly calm down first. The abbot tapped the staff in his hand, arhat formation. The remaining 107 arhats moved together. Everyone followed the formation and walked in circles while waving their arhat staffs to attack the young man. However, the young man was unmoved. He didn't care if he was hit by the arhat staffs. Every time he blocked the staffs, the monks he touched would be torn in half. Soon, the young man was covered in wounds and many of the monks in the arhat formation were either injured or dead. 12 monks suddenly stabbed out their arhat staffs at the young man's body and lifted him into the air. Before the young man could react, an arhat had already jumped behind him and smashed his head with a staff. Amitabha, the abbot couldn't help but tap the staff, his face full of shame. But no matter what, Shaolin's crisis this time was finally resolved. However, before he could breathe a sigh of relief, a dozen figures suddenly walked over from the opposite courtyard. Each of these figures was wearing a special combat suit, and they all looked exactly the same. The abbot looked at them and sucked in a breath of cold air. No matter how strong his Buddhist heart was, he couldn't hold it in this time. Amitabha. No, unbelievable. Chapter 1051. These dozens of people all had the appearance of the little tyrant. Like an army, they walked into the dojo. Why are there so many? Amitabha, this isn't a dream, right? These monks were all dumbfounded. What situation is this? This isn't a joke, right? Amitabha. Perhaps this is our Shaolin's calamity. The abbot raised the Buddhist staff in his hand and said loudly. This old monk will meet them personally. He faced the little tyrant army, his eyes filled with determination. The Shaolin monks and the little tyrant army clashed together. Ah! Li Fan suddenly sat up and wiped the cold sweat on his forehead. You're awake. Wang Luo stood in the kitchen, preparing breakfast. He was wearing the singlet and shorts that he wore the first time they met. Just by looking at his back, he was no different from an ordinary old man. You woke up quite early. There are still 2 hours before the appointed time, you can sleep for a while more. I had a nightmare, I couldn't sleep. Li Fan wiped the cold sweat on his forehead. I'm not going to sleep, I'm going to practice some boxing. Li Fan's daily training was a must, this was his unshakable rule. This is rare, a lot of martial artists nowadays are lazy. Wang Luo grumbled while cooking, a young martial artist like you who cultivates both internal and external martial arts is rare. Eat first, we can fight after eating. Actually, I'm very curious. Li Fan wore his sportswear and asked, China is a vast land with many experts, why did you choose me? There were a lot of people in my shortlist at the beginning. Wang Luo laughed, other than you, there are two more. One is Muronging, the other is Jiang Feng. The two of them. Yes, it's them. Among the two, Muronging is the strongest, the most talented, and the first to catch my eye. But I didn't choose her, because she is a member of Murong family, and has always carried the responsibility of Murong family. She can't let go of Murong family, so she can't be the sword of the state. I can't let go of my escort agency either. An escort agency is different from a family clan. Wang Luo said without turning her head. Muronging can't let go of Murong's family for even a minute. What about you? Didn't you just let your subordinates take care of the escort agency? This. I'm training them well. Li Fan laughed dryly. What about the other one? How is Jiang Feng? Jiang Feng. Actually, I think more highly of him. Wang Luo sighed with emotion. Don't think that you're stronger than him. He actually has more potential than you, and he has more perseverance and tenacity. It's a pity that I don't have much time to train him. Can't you teach him the Shangfang sword first? Hearing Wang Luo praise his mortal enemy, Li Fan felt slightly displeased in his heart. But even though he was unhappy, Li Fan couldn't say anything else. Of course not. Wang Luo served 2 servings of egg fried rice. He has his own goal in his heart, and for this goal, he will do anything. If I teach him the Shangfang sword, after I die, he will abuse the power of the Shangfang sword just to achieve his own goal. Damn, why is it egg fried rice again? Do you only know how to cook one dish? Nonsense. This is different from yesterday's egg fried rice. Wang Luo emphasized. How is it different? This egg fried rice, I added chopped green onions. Li Fan felt a little powerless to complain. How is this different? In Buddhism, eggs are considered vegetarian, but chopped green onions are meat. Wang Luo chuckled. So, yesterday I let you eat a vegetarian dish, and today I let you eat a meat dish. Of course it's different. Li Fan was speechless and didn't know how to refute. But to put it bluntly, wasn't it still egg fried rice? Alright. It's good enough that you have something to eat. It's better than not having anything to eat, right? Alright, thank you for the breakfast. That's more like it. Learn from me this month. If you can't stand my training method, you can quit anytime. Wang Luo reminded Li Fan, but Li Fan smiled. There's nothing I can't endure. Is that so? Wang Luo revealed a smile, but it made Li Fan tremble in fear. This old man. What is he thinking? It's about time. After Li Fan finished a set of 7 hero fist, Wang Luo looked at the clock on the wall. It's about time for us to set off. How do we go to the Vatican? Just like that. As Wang Luo spoke, she opened the door of the washroom. A magician wearing a cloak stumbled in and almost fell. Luckily, Wang Luo supported him. Pierce, you are still so flustered. Wang Luo, you lunatic. After Pierce came in, he looked around nervously and scolded. Now the entire association of mages is after you, and you still dare to ask for my help. Oh, my dear Pierce, you are the president of the Association of Mages. Can't you just remove the warrant? You are crazy. Only this won't do. Pierce was so angry that he vomited blood. If I didn't owe you a favor, I would never help you. My dear Pierce, you don't lose anything by helping me this time. We can leave London peacefully, and you won't have any casualties, right? You shameless bastard. Pierce angrily scolded Wang Luo, get out of London. I don't want to see you again. As he spoke, he stretched out his hand and pulled the washroom door again. The world behind the door changed under the effect of his magic. Li Fan, let's go. Thank you, Pierce, we don't owe each other anymore. Wang Luo picked up the Shang Fang sword and went through the washroom door first. Let's go. Pierce glanced at Li Fan and urged, the next time we meet, I will personally catch you and bring you back. All right, let's meet again if there's a chance. Li Fan winked at the president of the Association of Mages and then followed through the washroom door. After entering, in a blink of an eye, Li Fan came to another room. This room was decorated in a typical European style. There were white European-style tables and chairs, and in the middle, there was a big round bed. A bald man was lying on the bed with two girls in his arms. Their skin color was different, one black and one white, a rich variety. Damn fatty, wake up. Wang Luo kicked the bed, causing the three people on the bed to fall off. Fuck. The fatty on the bed fell down, and his butt hurt as he couldn't help but curse. Hey, fatty, we meet again. Did you miss me? Wang Luo squatted on the floor and smiled at the fatty who was cursing. The fatty looked at Wang Luo and was dumbfounded. Chapter 1052. Why is it you? When the fatty saw Wang Luo, he quickly got up and put on his pants. The two girls were bored to death. They got up and pestered the fatty, seemingly wanting to have sex. However, fatty kicked the two of them away and pulled out a book from the bookshelf next to him. The bookshelf slowly slid to the side, revealing a secret door, allowing the two girls to walk out from this door. Motherfucker, why didn't you tell me you were coming? Are you trying to ambush me? This fatty had white skin and blue eyes. He was obviously a foreigner, but his mouth spoke fluent Chinese. I don't need to tell you that I'm here. Wang Luo casually sat on the table next to him, smiling as she looked at the man who was busy putting on his clothes. The fatty put on a gorgeous pope robe, then put on a crown, then glared at Wang Luo. Wang Luo, you're a devil, whoever you've helped will be unlucky. The fatty cursed angrily. This isn't just helping you. Wang Luo took out a holy sword, playing with it in her hand. If I didn't help you, you wouldn't be able to become the Pope. Yes, you, Wang Luo, are amazing. I'm deeply grateful, okay? The fatty couldn't be arrogant in front of Wang Luo. He walked to the window and looked outside. You actually dared to bring this person here. Do you know that the British Magic Association has already issued a kill order for him? What, do you lack the Magic Association's money? Wang Luo raised her eyebrows and asked. Of course not. Tell me first, why did you bring him here? The fatty adjusted his attitude. Very quickly, he became very serious, looked at Li Fan, and asked. My dear Chinese friend, it's not safe for you to be here. What, you can't even protect one person in your territory? Wang Luo looked at the Pope mockingly. No, of course I can, but there's still time. The Pope took off the crown and put on his wig. There are a lot of eyes here, they're staring at me, making me feel very restrained. I really don't see how you're restrained. Wang Luo pouted. Li Fan also wanted to complain, but it was his first time meeting the Pope, so he held it in. You can't just look at some things on the surface, my dear friend. The Pope opened another secret door and invited Li Fan and the others to enter. Li Fan and Wang Luo walked in and found that there was a secret church built inside. This is the place where I hear God's will. The Pope looked at the magnificent secret church and felt a burst of pride. Only in the Church of God would such a magnificent secret cathedral be built. This is the power of a God. It's the power of faith. Wang Luo complained. Li Fan admired the beautiful and magnificent cathedral, and his heart was filled with emotion. The church was surrounded by 12 angels, each of which was 10 meters tall, representing a character from the Bible. And Jesus was hanging on the cross, right in front of the church. At the same time, there was a beautiful oil painting at the top of the church, which seemed to be telling a story from the Bible. These amazing facilities undoubtedly impacted Li Fan's heart. This was not the work of a god, it belonged to humans. Only human beings could create such great art. Speak, why did you bring him here, my dear friend? Naturally, I brought him here for you to train him, my dear Holiness. Wang Luo's words caused the Pope to ponder. He sized up Li Fan, seemingly thinking about something. The Pope's gaze caused Li Fan's chrysanthemum to clench, and he subconsciously gathered his true qi, bringing along hostility. He looks quite handsome, but compared to my boy toy, he is still lacking a lot. Scram! Wang Luo kicked the fatty's butt. Who is here for your heavy taste? I brought him here for spiritual power training. Why me? The Pope was a little doubtful. Wouldn't it be better for you to do this yourself? Me? If I were to do it, he would directly have a mental breakdown. Wang Luo immediately rejected the Pope's suggestion. I still have to let you do it. Are you saying that I am inferior to you? The Pope was a little unhappy. No, my dear Holiness, you misunderstood. It is not that you are weaker than me. Before the Pope could calm down, Wang Luo followed up with another sentence. It is that I am stronger than you. Fuck. You are fucking right. The Pope returned to his ruffian appearance. I can't deal with you, but I can deal with this kid. At that time, I will let him have a good time. That is your own business, just don't kill him. The conversation between the two made Li Fan depressed. Listening to their words made him feel weird. Then let's begin. The Pope seemed to know that Wang Luo and Li Fan's time was limited. He walked to the front of the cross, extended his scepter, and pointed at Li Fan. Come over, come in front of me, I will train you. Wang Luo's face was indeed very big. This Vatican Pope also wanted to help him train him. Li Fan was also unwilling to waste time, and directly walked in front of the Pope. If you can't stand it, remember to tell me. The Pope smiled at Li Fan, but I will not stop. With that, the Pope's eyes suddenly emitted a white light. Li Fan's body trembled. He felt that at that moment, he seemed to have lost himself. Immediately, Li Fan found himself tied to a cross, and it was upside down. Below his body was a blazing flame, burning his body. The pain of the flames burning his body caused Li Fan to scream again and again. At the same time, many crows flew down from above, and began to tear the flesh on Li Fan's body. This burning and dismembering pain caused Li Fan to scream uncontrollably. Li Fan was in extreme pain. He knew that this was just an illusion, but it was precisely this illusion that made him unable to bear it. Because every pain was real, a person's pain was originally a reaction from the brain to the nerves. It was a kind of danger signal. The Pope's mental power directly acted on Li Fan's brain, giving Li Fan a terrifying danger signal. In this fiery red sky, a human face appeared. It was the Pope's fat face. If you can't bear it, you can beg for mercy. The Pope laughed. I love to hear people beg for mercy the most. Humph. Li Fan even held back his screams. This is considered a motherfucker. Put in more effort. Interesting. The Pope's huge face appeared in the sky. I want to see how long you can last in my heart-piercing hell. Then let's give it a try. Li Fan was enduring enormous pain, but he clenched his teeth, silently enduring this pain. In this place, Li Fan's true qi was useless, no energy could be used, the only thing he could use was his brain. And willpower. Chapter 1053. Li Fan felt like a year had passed. He fainted a few times from the pain, but his brain was woken up by the Pope, and he had to endure this unbearable pain again. But the Pope's face appeared again, and told Li Fan that only an hour had passed. Others might live a day like a year, but for Li Fan, hours were like years. This kind of pain, not to mention an hour, even a second would make a person collapse. But Li Fan endured it. And whether it was the Pope or Wang Luo, none of them had the intention to let Li Fan rest, and kept torturing him. In such an environment, Li Fan continued to endure the torture. The human brain had a protective mechanism. If a normal person had to endure this kind of pain, they would definitely faint. But the Pope forced Li Fan's mind to stay awake, to experience the pain that penetrated deep into his bones. And the punishment mechanism was changed almost every day. When Li Fan got used to a certain kind of pain, the Pope would change to a new kind of torture method, to make him fall into hell again. It was like the 18 levels of hell, 18 kinds of torture, to let Li Fan experience one by one. Li Fan's pain couldn't stop, and he slowly understood. If he didn't want to feel pain, he had to learn to resist this pain signal that came from the outside. At the same time, the pain could also amplify Li Fan's brain waves. It's been almost a month, he still can't do it. The Pope looked at Li Fan, who was lying on the ground, with a face full of stubble, and shook his head at Wang Luo, who was sitting next to him. It's been so many days, and he still can't grasp the technique of mental power. This is the bottleneck of a martial fighter. Wang Luo couldn't help but sigh. He put all of his focus on training his vital energy and physique, so even though he's accomplished in martial arts, he can't feel the power of mental power. If he continues to train, he might die. The Pope asked cautiously, "Why don't we give up? Hold on for another 2 days. If he really can't do it, we can only give up on him." Wang Luo said, "The mental power of the Shangfang sword must be strong, it must not be controlled by others." It was really difficult for a martial fighter to learn mental power. Even his master's spiritual power was very weak, and he only understood a little. Only when it came to Wang Luo's generation, because he was a person who had been transformed, especially after walking the line between life and death, his mental power was abnormally strong. "Then I'll try again. You should be mentally prepared. He might turn into a lunatic at any time." After being tortured for so long, the Pope did not believe that the young man could still be normal. He once again entered Li Fan's spiritual world to look at this pitiful person who had been suffering day after day. "How is this pain?" 2 days later, the Pope's big face once again appeared in front of Li Fan. "Even Wang Luo is about to give up on you. You're too disappointing. He plans to leave this place today, and you will die here. I will use your corpse to claim the reward." Although I didn't care about money, the Magic Association's asking price this time was a bit high. After all, I'm not a god, and my heart will be moved. "Really?" After a few days, faced with the Pope's provocation, Li Fan spoke again. "You can still talk to me. Looks like I've underestimated you. But this is also a kind of final radiance of the setting sun. A normal person would have gone crazy after being tortured by me like this. Indeed, I'm going crazy, but there's always someone beside my ear telling me to stay rational and not lose." "Who told you that? Don't you see him? He's been sitting here the whole time." Mr. Yang sat on a pillar at the side, holding a cane in his hand, dressed like a standard gentleman. If he was also wearing a tuxedo, he would almost be the same as those mages from the Magic Association. Who is he? Seeing this figure, the Pope was shocked. He actually did not feel another person's mental power. How is this possible? I'm in charge of fighting, he's in charge of providing me with mental power. As Li Fan spoke, he ordered Mr. Yang, do me a favor and drag him in. Yes, my friend. Mr. Yang bowed to Li Fan and then pulled with both of his hands. The Pope couldn't control his own mental power, and his consciousness was directly pulled into his brain by Li Fan. The moment the Pope entered, the terrible hell also disappeared, and a clean lake appeared in front of him. Li Fan quietly stood in the middle of the lake, both of his feet stepping on the surface of the lake, and Mr. Yang stood beside him. Do you see, this is my world. Li Fan pointed around, this is the visualization world of every martial artist. There used to be 2 terrible strong people here. But now they're gone, completely absorbed by me. As he said, he waved his hand, and the surrounding scene quickly changed. In the blink of an eye, it turned into the secret church that the Pope secretly built. You see, this is your favorite place, a beautiful cathedral. Beside Li Fan were a few Tiger Gate cannons, but if there are 2 rounds of cannons, I don't know if it can still maintain this beautiful appearance. You can't hurt them. They are the will of God, and also the great cultural heritage of mankind. You can't stand it already. Your mental defense is too weak. Li Fan waved his hand, and the church cracked. The Pope clenched his teeth, but he endured it. A door was smashed, and Wang Luo walked into Li Fan's mind. Li Fan, what are you doing? Wang Luo saw the Pope was imprisoned in Li Fan's world, and quickly used his mental power to run in to take a look. You're here. Wang Luo did help Li Fan a lot, and Li Fan was very grateful to him. But now, Li Fan felt an even more terrible power. The sea around him was blue, and there seemed to be a ship sailing in the distance, as if it was on some ocean. Li Fan pointed at a green island in front, that is Demon Island. The birthplace of the demon. Wang Luo also knew that place, but he had never been there. Because Demon Island was a mysterious place, no one knew where it was, and everyone wanted to go there. Yes, I can feel it, a terrible crisis. Li Fan pointed at Demon Island, and his face was gloomy. Mr. Yang told me that there is a terrible existence on the island, and it seems to be awakening. But I don't know where he is, and he is hiding very well. I'm afraid you have to solve the matter of Demon Island by yourself. Wang Luo shrugged his shoulders. There is only one thing I can help you with now. What is it? You have taken an unconventional path, and your mental power has reached a certain level. Wang Luo glanced at Mr. Yang, who was tortured to become stronger, so, I will bring you back to China to help you kill a person you have always wanted to kill. You want me to owe you a favor. You're tuning in to the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.